Last time on Revisiting the Wheel of Time.
Debate to have where you're just like, dude, if you're already losing it on book 5, you're not going to make it through. But within the fandom, a lot of people notice a slowdown that starts after Do My Wells.
As long as you're not Dark fans. Dark fans are worse than Dark friends, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm rooting for Dane Bornhold in the TV show, and I hope he's not dead.
Not much. I'm doing pretty good. Is my mic terrible or?
No, you actually sound really good. No, you actually sound really good.
Sound properly intimidating.
Yeah, you should be like, you should just like, I should put like your voice, go or leave or something, I need to use you for some voice work.
Can people both say, Arby's, we have the meat?
Do the one where
uncanny.
They go like,
Absolutely uncanny.
If you're paying $1 for a sandwich, there's something wrong with that sandwich.
If you pay $1 for a sandwich, there's something wrong with that sandwich.
Is that actually an Arby's slogan?
It was, yeah. It was a few years ago.
Comes in to report, some mail comes in. But
and I think Samael just freezes her.
Yep.
And then commands him to I forget what was they're looking for the thing too. They're looking for the bowl.
Not necessarily the bowl. All the Forsaken are looking for a cache of Angreal or Sa Angreal. Because remember, the Forsaken, they're all competing with each other. They're all at about the same strength level. Even though the women are weaker than the men, the women are more adept.
And now the conclusion.
Ilion belongs to me. Ilion is mine. I won't destroy what belongs to me, killing you. And I won't let you destroy it either. You had the nerve to come after me here? Do you have the courage to follow me again? Do you have the courage? I'm the Dragon Reborn, and I'm going to kill you, Samael.
That editor really sucked. It really screwed. I was trying to make a zoom effect. Man, I don't know what I hate updates. I hate updates to Premiere. So, but what's up, guys? Welcome back to Wheel of Time Book Club or Wheel of Time Revisited, whatever the hell I call it. This is like the 30th episode now. The final episode for A Crown of Swords. That's this book right here. This beautiful blue book that I actually finally get to. We finally get to Shader Logoth. And it's funny because, it's funny how we fight the final boss in Shader Logoth, but it's not Pan Fane. It's not Pan Fane. It's it's a Forsaken. It's a
Brian, what edition is yours?
Oh, this is like I bought this from Thrift Books. So I wanted to buy something that was closest to the the original artwork and all that. So
Yeah, but it looks like you got a hardcover. But if you go to this page, right, just the one before the dedication, and then you look at the numbers at the very bottom. If you've got a number 1,
no, I bought this. This says copyright 2012.
okay, never mind.
So this is a version. This is a later version that still has the original artwork.
Yeah.
So
Reprint.
because I believe, if I remember correctly, this came out in '96. So roughly the same time as the first Game of Thrones book, the N64, the best and the greatest RPG of all time, Super Mario RPG. And it's a great year. It's a great year. Staple Bow, I don't think you were around for that, but it was a great time to be alive. Sorry.
First edition.
First editions.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, how'd you get one? If you got into it after
this one was this one was lucky find on Amazon. So it's secondhand, like a secondhand sale. But from Winter's Heart on, I got all first editions. Actually, I bought them all on the first day they came out.
Did you get any signed by Robert Jordan?
No, but
how much have you checked? Have you checked to see how much like those are worth?
Yeah, it's semi ridiculous how much it is. But the Renaissance nerd, he's got a signed copy of one of his books. So,
okay.
Met with Robert Jordan, shook his hand. So,
no,
always jealous of those guys.
Okay, so but it's good to see Dane and Stable Boy. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I've been replaying Devil May Cry recently.
Oh, because of I heard there is a standout anime
Don't remind me of
on Netflix. Like I had no idea Hell had oil. if you get what I mean.
I know what you mean.
I mean, why else would the U.S. invade Hell?
I must have forgotten the part of the games where it's an allegory for the freaking Afghani war.
Yeah, I thought it was Iraq, but yeah.
Well, not even Iraq. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, isn't a certain show coming to an end like altogether this week? A series finale. It's gonna be a series finale, right? Right.
God willing.
Yes. Good. So I figure I wanted to read this, get this done before that series finale comes out. So that's kind of why I'm doing this now. So, but yeah, so Crown of Swords. So we covered up to chapter 20 last time. So I think we went from a great prologue, and a very slow. So, in my opinion, overall about this book so far, I kind of understand why they would call this the slog, because of just the fact that the story itself, even more so than Lord of Chaos, slows to a crawl. And that's something I prepared myself going into. So that's why when I read this, I haven't been complaining and bitching about the stuff. Now there have been rough points. There were rough points yesterday during my read of the final chapters, which was a little disappointing because usually the final chapters, I thought would get the closer you get to the end, the build up to the climax, because every Wheel of Time book basically ends with a major climax. Am I right? I mean, this is the last one with the Chase the Forsaken trope that this series started.
Yeah, yes and no. But the 10th book doesn't have a climax.
Oh no, really?
That's kind of just trails off.
I hear the 8th book doesn't either. Am I wrong?
It's less has a climax. It's just kind of sudden. It's not as crazy as the other ones, but it's there. I mean,
it's there, but it comes out of left field, kind of. But the gripe you're going to have with the 8th book, if I need to mentally prepare you, if you made it through all the way of Crown of Swords, you did it probably because you enjoyed Matt as a character. You enjoyed reading him.
Yeah, I enjoyed Matt. I enjoyed most of Matt. I like even the other characters. The final three, it was rough until we got to the fight, and then the final chapter was great.
But even the other characters are less insufferable if what they're thinking about is Matt. Like I enjoyed the chapters, Small Sacrifices, especially where Nynaeve has to go apologize to Matt. So even though it's like in the girls' heads, since Matt is the subject of what they're thinking about, like it's bearable.
Yeah.
Right. I enjoy that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I actually
But-
liked that aspect too. I thought it was funny. By the way, Admiral Teague, member for 15 months. Thank you so much for being a member. And Staple Bow, can you read that?
I thought if it was enough money. I'm joking.
Hey, there is money. There is money involved.
There is
here.
money. All right.
Yes.
Hail at. Wait. Say it like what?
Say it like a villain.
I can't.
You don't have to use the ampersand.
Hail at the Nerdporial life form.
Ooh, yeah. Oh. All right. You earned your pay for the day.
I'm not
Big
being paid.
Bros, it's just gonna. Yeah, you didn't. But what we're saying is, one day you could probably just get a career in voice work, bud.
Maybe.
Yeah.
you're
Probably
set
no
for
gear.
life. Yeah, exactly.
So I want to say, besides Admiral Teague, I want to say hello to we have Grifter Act 23X, also known as Knight on Discord, and we have Fideon, and we have Sci-Fi Mombi. Thank you guys for showing up and coming by. So we're talking the 7th book of the Wheel of Time, just to reiterate. So if you haven't read the Wheel of Time, you're being like, what the hell are these guys talking about? So but if you ever do read the Wheel of Time, and you enjoy them and you want to hear a great discussion, definitely come back and check out these streams and all that. So I figured you know what I'm gonna say straight off the bat, the fight with the Golem was awesome. It was just like, I thought it reminded me, like, the first thing I thought of when I saw like I saw the image of the picture, the art of the Golem or something like that, I was thinking either Ivan Ooze, but then there was another more obvious character, the T-1000 from Terminator
Yes.
2.
That's what I was going to say if you didn't say it.
So at one point, I was expecting Matt to be running from this Golem, basically. So I mean, the Golem got away. So I was like, okay, I'm wondering what's going to happen next. But like, I liked how like Matt was totally like out of his league with this guy. And the first thing that I thought was, now I remember, Dan, you said you basically brought up some of the lore behind the Golem. Like there's 6 Golem, I think, 3 men and 3 women. Yep. And I think only one survived into this age, or is that a read and find out?
That's a read and find out, but it's not known. There are some fan theories about. I liked it. There's more substantiation for this fan theory that happens in a later book. It's the tiniest spoiler, but there's a speculation that Mordeth in Shatter Logoth was a Golem, because he similarly kind of stretches out when he like shrieks at the boys. If you remember the world, there's no substantiation for that. It's mostly based off of a comment that a character makes when observing the Golem. Like, I've seen something like that before in Shatter Logoth, and then they start talking. But when Matt gives his spiel about why they all need to get the hell out of Dodge, that's where he's relaying all the information to the Sea Folk, and that's where we get some of it about what it's actually called, what its powers are, how many there were supposed to be. And I think, give me a second here, I got this back from my brother the other day.
Okay. And before we go any further, I want to welcome Sci-Fi Mombi to the Nerdporial Continuum. Thank you for becoming a member. I hope to I'll try to get some decent content out and hopefully get a member stream going again. So for all you guys that are members, once again, thank you so much. So all right,
Brian, this came out right after A Crown of Swords. It's the original guide to it's the world of Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time. They call it the Big Book of Bad Art because there are some pretty bad examples of art in this, like Shamael, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's also got the cover art in the middle, and the cover art ends on a beautiful full page of our Crown of Swords dust jacket. But this has got a heck of a lot of ancillary detail. and you can find a second edition of this in bookstores if you're interested, because none of this will be spoilers for you now. So all the background stuff you want to read about Age of Legends, different types of Shadow Spawn, the different countries, everything. You've now graduated to being allowed to read this finally. So
Yeah, and there actually is like a good amount of like actual like new lore in that book as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the first edition.
There's a different copy out that has more of a reddish kind of map cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one
to
I
it.
have.
Yeah, but it's called The World of Robert Jordan's The Wheel of Time.
Okay, all right. And there's one other question I have, and maybe this is if it's a read and find out, just say it's a read and find out. The way the Golem seems like almost omnipotent, except for the fact that Matt's Foxhead medallion can hurt it. Is there a reason? Does it go into detail why the Foxhead medallion can hurt it?
Yeah, because the Golem, as explained, I think by Matt in the later stuff, it was specifically designed to kill channelers, because the Golem has the same effect on it that Matt's medallion gives to Matt.
Oh, okay.
So that's why Elaine was crumpled out, and like no channeler can actually fight the Golem using weaves, because they just melt off the Golem, exactly like what happens to Matt. So when his Foxhead hit the Golem, that's basically crossing streams from Ghostbusters or something like. It's reversing the polarity, and it's the first time he's ever been injured, which is also what shocks him and causes him to flee.
Interesting. I thought that was interesting. And then the final chapter with the Golem still still at large, I was just like, okay, I feel a sense of danger. And he's like, yeah, you guys better get the F out of here. We can't stay here and all that. And then, oh dude, how this ended, I can see why people got so mad. Like, and then, because I know that Matt is not in Path of Daggers. I know he's not in Path of Daggers. And it ends on such a massive cliffhanger. Like, dude, a whole bunch of, like, he gets knocked down. He gets knocked down by someone named Sean, and a bunch of people named Sean actually, and a bunch of bricks fall on him. I'd be like, oh, he'd be dead, right? He's like, where's my luck? And then so I was like, because I'm reading this and I'm like, okay, I accidentally stumbled on spoilers, saying, oh, Matt gets injured and is not in book 8. I'm like, well, he's not injured. I'm on the final chapter. The Golem's already been dealt with. So unless the Golem comes back, which did not happen. So I was like, okay. And I kept reading. I was like, oh, okay. So this was set up in chapter 30. It was this chapter, was it
30?
20?
I think it's Promises to Keep.
Yeah. Was it Promises to Keep? No. I mean the Sean Chan was, yeah. This chapter was Promises to Keep.
Sorry.
When the Sean Chan take over the White Cloaks base, the Amadecia or Amador. Is it Amador or Amadecia? Amador.
Amador is the city. Amadecia is the country. Yeah. But a lot of the Sean Chan returning has been set up for a long time.
Yeah, we haven't seen the High Lady Suroth since the Shadow Rising. So I liked the chapter with Morgaze and them. It's nighttime and they're just chilling. They're chilling. We learned quite a bit of bad stuff. A lot of bad stuff happens to Morgaze. So apparently she was tortured by Asanawa and she was raped. Or what, was she raped or was she, I mean, yes. would that be, I mean, because she kind of, I mean, was it,
you can't really say that someone who is recently tortured and then like consented to your advances to avoid torture.
Yeah.
Came willingly.
Yeah. No, you're right. Take responsibility.
But not the only woman that was raped in this couple of chapters around here. Mogedion got some too. Anyway, by a Murdral.
Really?
Yeah, confirmed in the
chat. I didn't pick up on that. Oh wait, I didn't pick up on that.
It's horrible, but
It's pretty messed up.
I didn't pick up on that. Let me see.
yeah, it sucks to be a Forsaken when you fail.
Yeah, that was a great. That was actually a really. I actually thought that was a great chapter too. The mind trap. I was like, holy crap!
Yes.
This is crazy. This is crazy. So basically, she's under total control. They put this little jewel, which is supposed to be her soul, basically.
Yeah.
Or it makes me think of it makes me think of the doll. It makes me think of like the doll from Indiana Jones, the voodoo and all that, But this time it's a jewel and inside a little, cage, and every time they squeeze it, she feels it and all that. So
Don't
yes.
go looking for the rapey stuff in the text, though. That was confirmed in the chat afterwards, because Murdral attentions, like it's alluded to, it's subtle, because Robert Jordan doesn't put that stuff really graphically on the page.
Well, no,
he was asked by a reader, like, hey, wait a second, if she was being prisoner by a fade, was she raped in there? And then he's just like, yeah, of course.
Oh, interesting. Miyakova, one who owns me. Yeah. Chilling. Yeah, this was a chilling chapter, So who was it? Shader Haran that does the yoinking. Okay. And then she gets transferred to another guy, a young dude, a young dude that has black flecks along his eyes. At least that's how it's described here. And of course, I think I don't know. We met this. I was like, okay, this is the same character that was spying on Samael and Grendel earlier. So this is Moradin. This is Moradin, basically. I forget. He reveals himself as Moradin, right? Here or no?
Yep, I believe that's what he says his name is.
Yes, I do. What is your name? Do you have any idea who you were speaking to? Yes, I do, Moghedian. You may call me Moradin. Okay, yeah, right here. Oh boy, yeah. And then so now she's under control of Moradin. And I was like, okay, are we going to see Moghedian again? Are we going to see Moghedian again? Yes, we are we do see Moghedian again several chapters later. And I'm like, okay, so apparently Moghedian shows up in Ebodar, and she sees a certain person walk into a boat, and she tries to balefire the cabin of the boat. But for some reason, I guess the pattern had other plans, and the pattern caused a bunch of pigeons or birds to scare her, and she instead cut the boat in half Titanic style, and it capsized. And because of the fact that it was balefire, it got sent back a couple of seconds, so it was further back, and it sunk. And Nynaeve, well, I guess Nynaeve's dead. So I was like, okay, something happened. I was like, I was a nice surprise. I was surprised that something actually happened there.
Well, it's actually
bad guys actually did something.
It's a critical moment for Nynaeve. I don't know if you've picked up on it, but
yes. Nynaeve's on the verge of death, basically.
Yeah.
And she's at the point where she's struggling. She can't get out of the cabin. And she decides, you know what? That's it. I'm done. And she lets go. And for the first time in her life, she lets go. And then Saidar just fills her. And then she's, she barely gets to the surface before a certain older but handsome warder with an angular face, and I wish I had an angular face, with the angular face and according to Robert Jordan, the most beautiful hair. Lan comes back,
modeled on Liam Neeson, if you can believe it.
Was it Liam Neeson? No way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if Liam Neeson had black hair, I don't know if he has blue eyes, but if he had black hair, and look like Qui-Gon Jinn, having long hair,
Yeah, imagine a Qui-Gon shaved, so he doesn't have facial hair, has his hair kind of back, and it's still black, but he's tall, imposing, and it's more about the facial features that he gets described as having kind of all planes and angles. But I'm pretty sure Liam Neeson was his fan casting, and he's as badass as he is in the Taken movies. Like that's Lan, not a Korean pussy who cries all the time.
Oh, Daniel something. Yeah. But yeah, so so now so is this it, right? She loses the block.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
she's now full powered Nynaeve, and she's got her man.
Yeah, and then I think, and then the final chapters, from Matt's point of view, he's listening to them talking about the deed, and it's just it's just like, I don't know if Matt's embarrassed or something, but it was just like they're trying to be super mum about it. They're saying it, and then they're oh wait, like that. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, I could believe that.
Matt looking at Lan being like, you actually married her? What the hell's wrong?
What the hell's wrong with you, bro?
And just like utterly convinced like that he's fucking insane. All right. I don't want to be married, but get married to
curse you, Alan Mandragoran. Curse you.
Now here's a stupid.
It's the first thing that saves her life, and she smacks him because Morel, because like something outside of his control, like him under Morel was not his doing, it was Moraine's doing. So smacks him, and like, we're getting married. It's like, we are, yeah, we're getting married today. We're getting married. Nesta, the top what do they call them? Sea folk.
Nesta Din Reyes 2 moons.
She's going to marry us, and we're going to do this. We're going to do this right now. We're getting married right now. I'm not losing you again. Don't you say any of your crap about, oh, you're going to die before me because the shadow's going to do something. No. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. So yeah.
Well, get this. This is a little thing that you pick up on like a second, third, or fourth reread. But apparently the Sea Folk marriage customs, just so you're aware, they've got this cultural system where whoever is of higher rank in public, so who rules in public, is ruled in private. So that since they had a Sea Folk wedding and they try to adhere to these Sea Folk-ish type vows, what's basically going on in their relationship dynamic, just so you know, in public, Lan is the warder who basically acquiesces to whatever Nynaeve demands in public. He even says stuff like, we're in public, Nynaeve. Oh, right. And it goes on. But in private, Lan is basically the dom and she's the sub. So that's what's going on there.
Smack.
And it's exactly what she wants. So Nynaeve becomes a hell of a lot more bearable now that she's getting the mean fucked out of her on a nightly basis.
Yeah, Nynaeve's one of my favorite characters. So.
She's a lot of people's favorite characters, but this is why I can now, after reading it so many times, really appreciate Nynaeve and her arc, because this is a multi-book joke that Robert Jordan put in, but it's tied to the main theme of the Wheel of Time. He was deliberately making Nynaeve unbearable in books 5 and 6. You just wanted to throttle her, or like a Nynaeve chapter, and you're pulling out your own hair.
Book 4 too.
Yeah, true enough. But from now on,
that's part of the reason why I've been complaining from book 4 onwards. It was because
exactly.
I liked the Supergirls arc in books 2 and 3. You know, them being captured by the Shan-Chan, them being captured by people that worked for the Shadow, and then them being captured by by the Black Aja and and Tyr and all that. That was actually pretty good. And then Shadow Rising happened, and Tanchiko was just like, oh my gosh. Other than the stuff with Magedian directly involved, like her using compulsion on them in their first encounter, and then of course the final fight, which at first I was like, okay, really, Nynaeve can take on a Forsaken? Well, she's one of the main characters, so. And then I was thinking about this. So, the reason why they left an Eye of the World, the reason why they left Two Rivers, are three young heroes, Matt, Rand, and Perrin, were born really close to the same time. So, I mean, either one of them, to the Shadow could have been, the Dragon Reborn. Nynaeve, I don't really understand why she went to chase them in particular, and Egwene's simply a runaway. Egwene just ran away from home. She didn't have to go with it all. They weren't after her. She just left because she hates her family and wanted to go on to the world or something. I don't know. She wanted power. I don't know.
Power hoe.
Yeah.
She's very ambitious.
I actually, when I first read Wheel of Time, I was hoping Nynaeve would not catch up to them. And she did catch up. She did catch up to them. And then all of a sudden the character lands in love with her. I'm like, where did this come from? And then all of a sudden Matt's speaking Old Tongue. I'm like, where did that come from? This wasn't set up. Where's all this coming from? And so that's part of the reason why I put the book down. It's like, I'm not sure I can believe any of this stuff. Things just kind of happen for no reason because our main character, because the story started. So
yeah, you need to get a couple chapters further, and then Loyal explains exactly why inexplicable things happen around these three boys.
Yeah.
Anyways,
even then it wasn't enough for me. So
this is a critical kind of part in Nynaeve's story, and the books in general, because the main theme of the Wheel of Time is men and women working together, and
or more like women, or more like women just being super critical and unbearable to men, basically, and men just bearing it until they get bearing it and simply saying, "I don't understand women. Why can't I understand women as much as Staplebow does, or why can't I understand women as much as the Gribble Report right here? What's up? How you doing? I haven't seen you before. What's up? What's up, buddy? Oh yeah, I already said loaded grifter. What's up, grifter? Nynaeve point of views are always a treat after the first book.
He's being facetious. Fuck you, Vendel.
So, but yeah, like other than that, like the only other thing that her and Elaine did was they found the circle or the kin.
Yeah.
Yes.
When I hear circle, I think of the Black Aja, but they also call themselves the kin. So apparently the kin, led by Rihanna Sorley. Rihanna Sorley is like, she's 400 years old, which was the big reveal at the end of, was it chapter 31? Yeah, chapter 31. So while Nynaeve was, getting married and screwing Lan, Elaine went back with the Aes Sedai to the kin's headquarters, where they're basically like, hey, we always knew you existed. Where the fuck is the Bowl of the Winds? And they're like, oh, Aes Sedai. We'll do. We were good. We didn't do anything. We didn't do anything. Just tell us where the Bowl of the Winds are, bitch. Come on.
Yeah. Do you know what's going on yet with the kinswomen and how old they are?
I mean, I assumed. Honestly, I mean, besides the fact that Rihanna's 400 years old, and I'm certain other members are that old. I mean, they were all put out of the tower, but were they modified before being put out of the tower by any chance? I mean, wasn't it until they become Aes Sedai and swear on the oaths, the oath rod, that they start to not age?
It's not a spoiler. Because you're up to it now, but we can explain it now to you finally. The Aes Sedai oath rod that they use was actually it was like a criminal punishment.
Yeah, it was a punishment
for Angreal back in the Age of Legends. If you broke the law in the Age of Legends, they would make you, and were a channeler, they would make you swear on what they called a binder, which is what the oath rod is, which could be like, I swear not to do this particular crime ever again, or anything like that. But the side effects of it basically cut your expected lifespan in half. Now, the Aes Sedai don't know about this anymore because this kind of got lost in their history. Mm-hmm. But all Aes Sedai, how they get the ageless feature, that is basically the oath rod settling in on their skin. So that's why they look distinctive. So it's the binding of the 3 O's that sets them apart from other women that can channel. So all Aes Sedai basically get their lifespan cut in half, ultimately, and they look different. But that's all the effect of the oath rod. So the Aiel wise ones, the kinswomen, even the sea folk, windfinders or whatnot, they could live potentially much, much longer than Aes Sedai, but they're not bound by these oaths. So it's kind of an interesting thing. That's like,
So is it because they use the power that they don't age? What is it?
that just a regular channeler, depending on how strong they are, extends their lifespan. And I think the strongest channelers could live up to 800 years old.
Does that include the male channelers? Or is it only
Yep.
the female? Okay.
Lewis Theron was like over 400 years old.
Yeah, this one was like 400 something.
Yeah.
And he
Oh,
was
okay.
only middle aged.
Really? So Rand. So if yeah. So if Rand doesn't go insane, like he can live a very long time. If if he wasn't prophesied to die.
Right. Yeah.
So, okay, yeah, okay, that's interesting. So basically, because of all these women, apparently there's like a couple thousand of them, which like outnumbers, I think, the Aes Sedai, right? Like there's not that many Aes Sedai, and I like how I like how half of them, like when they go into this place and they learn things about the kin, that they start fainting, like
Exactly. But this makes sense because your population estimate is expecting that they maybe live as long as Aes Sedai do, but they live twice as long.
Mm-hmm.
So their numbers are way larger than they ever expected.
Yeah, so they got some recruiting they can be doing now that they have numbers that they can meet. So I'm curious where that's going to go down the line for this. So Egwene's going to have plenty of new recruits coming in for especially for the salad bar Aes Sedai. So, and speaking of other Aes Sedai, I actually enjoyed the Elida chapter, Sealed to the Flame. So Sealed to the Flame, chapter 32, basically, once again, now Elida gets wind of what happened at the end of Lord of Chaos and what ultimately happened to several of the Aes Sedai on her side. So they've been taken prisoner. I don't know if a few of them got stilled. I don't know if any of them died, right? Did any of them die?
Did any of them die?
I don't think so.
I don't think
Jordan doesn't like to kill. Jordan doesn't like Matt and Rand and probably Perrin. Jordan doesn't like to kill his female characters whatsoever.
We have to realize that for the Aes Sedai, getting stilled is almost worse than death anyway. So
unless they find a new way to fill that hole in their soul. In the case of Lyanna, she likes to, because she's a Domani, she likes to fuck.
Hey, but there's another character completely unrelated to Dumai's Wells. Just keep an eye on her. She seems to have a mysterious past that could be Aes Sedai related. But just to refresh you on Dumai's Wells, the three that were shielding Rand when he finally crushed the shield over him, those three got stilled. But I think you're correct that the other Aes Sedai around, they did their best to like capture them. And Rand is going around at Dumai's Wells knocking them out, but he's not killing them.
Yeah. So he shielded. I think he shielded all of them, right? All the ones that got taken prisoner, he shielded basically. He's like,
Rand shields them, and he like clubs them in the head with air to knock them out.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Like the way I was reading it, I was just reading it and trying to imagine how the scene would play out on TV. You go shot, like a shootout. You're shooting someone, they just fall off the carriage or something like that. Something out of a Western.
Absolutely.
That's what I was thinking. So, but yeah, so Elida gets wind of what happened to Dumai's Wells, and then she finds out. She finds out that the Black Tower has like several hundred recruits, and she's freaking the fuck out. Like, excuse my language. I'm in a very colorful mood right now. I just finished. I spent this entire weekend reading from chapter 31 to 41. So I'm a little euphoric right now. So, but Elida basically this. I actually enjoyed listening to the audio version of this. I thought Kate Rennie did a really good job. So apparently there's a couple hundred recruits in the Black Tower, and she's freaking the hell out. And she's like, we have to recall them. We have to recall them. They're going to be slaughtered. And Alviarin's like, you better do what I tell you from now on, or you will be stilled, bitch. You're under my control now. You will do exactly as I say.
How the tables turn.
I will do exactly as you say. So I'm curious where that's going to go. Steve has said several times that Elida is a total idiot. So I'm just curious to understand the context of why he says that. Because what's funny is, as a result of that, she goes to what's the name of this other character? This other what's the name of this other Aes Sedai? Siain. Okay, so Siain, basically she goes to her because Siain didn't really stand up for. She just simply stayed in the tower. She was like impartial or something. At least I think Elida viewed her as impartial or something.
I think Siain's role. So when the coup against Swan was organized, they only informed the bare minimum of the sitters, but they got a unanimous consent, and that basically allowed them to depose and still Swan and install Elida.
Yeah.
Of the sitters that were not invited into this plot, Siain is the only one that stayed in the tower.
Yeah.
So that's why she was selected here. It's like, you were not in on the plan. Everybody who wasn't in on the plan in the hall fled the tower. Why did you stay?
Yeah.
So Siain is motivated more. The tower needs to be whole, mother. And my personal feelings for you, or one way or the other, don't enter into it. That's her main motivation.
Okay. All right. That's
now that being said, Brian, this entry point of Siain into the story, from a top-down like developmental edit perspective, this is something a proper editor would have said, RJ, don't do. You're introducing a new character in the 7th book, and they start to get a dominant plot position in the next couple of books. So you get a number of Siain and Pivara chapters going forward, and there's no real good payoff at the end of the day.
I was curious. I was curious where this was gonna go, because apparently so Elida just asks her to look for treason.
But she does it so circumspectly that Siain misinterprets what she's actually asking for.
Yeah.
So Siain appoints herself as a Black Aja hunter.
Yeah. So I'm curious if that's gonna go. I'm curious if that Eli's like, no, that's not what I wanted, or something like that. That's not true.
You're
that's
not
impossible.
To actually do stuff about the Black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I was curious. It seemed a little intriguing to. I'm curious how much the Gribble report disagrees about the Pivara payoff.
Yeah, well,
the Gribble report
has a payoff, but it's connected to a character that is a bit divisive. Is what I will say. I don't know if you'll like that character or not. I do not. But
is this a character that we have met yet, or no?
No, it's not
yet. But he's known as Andral, and a lot of people feel that in the later books that this was a Brandon Sanderson character, so that when Brandon came in to finish off the series, they said, all right, well, write your own character, right? You're going to do everything with RJ's characters, but you should, be able to put a stamp on your own story or plot. And he ended up with this Andral character, who's Al-Shaman, who's particularly good with gateways.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, Brandon Sanderson had played Portal. Yeah, and then Andral ends up taking a lot of what fans really believe should have been Logain's plot going forward. So Andral's divisive. Pivara meets up with them. So does it pay off? You can read and find out. But from a developmental edit perspective, we already see with these books that the characters are separating, and the plots are slowing down because the characters are separating. the last thing you then add on is brand new characters in the 7th book. So that this is where the pacing of the book slows down.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I've already noticed it and I'm kind of already prepared for it. So my goal after my trip, I'm going to start Path of Daggers. I'm going to try and marathon Path of Daggers, Winter's Heart, and Crossroads of Twilight. So yeah, I'm going to try. Well, it'll help. I want to try and knock those out as quickly as possible. At least before fall, and then when fall hits, I want to cover the final. I want to cover the final 4 books. So my goal is still to finish the Wheel of Time this year. So, I mean, I managed to read 10 chapters this weekend. So if I can do it for Crown of Swords, I'll try. I'll try for the remainder of the series and everything.
Brian, some of these chapters, they're just absolute gems, right? I mean, we started off with Swoven Knight, where Matt is being surrounded by idiots who just want to get in fights on like a big festival night, and he gets like attacked by random dark friends, but just thinks like Ebudar is a dangerous place. And Beslin is happy as a pig in shit, getting into sword fights and never feeling so alive.
Oh, is this the same chapter where that was the Festival of the Birds, where they go out into the festival and they're being attacked by all these homeless homeless
it could be the same.
And that's the one where Beslin was having the time of his life. Like,
you might be right. Then
they kept trying to get rid of him. They're like, bro, even Elysian was like,
Beslin just cannot catch a hand.
They were trying to say, oh, you don't want to hang out with Matt, he's boring, and he's like, no, he's not boring at all. He's fun, and I'm sticking around. So,
but then Swoven Knight is then the one where Brigitte and Matt basically drink all night.
I liked when they encountered each other, or like, oh, there's a golden. I like how the one serving girl's like, there's a gilded woman in your room for you, and then I don't remember if she throws a drink in his face or just I don't know, closes her legs or something to him. I don't know. She hates him basically, and then he goes in and he talks to Brigitte. He's like, I remember you. And then we get a little flashback to the Great Hunt. And then that whole moment with her and him, her calling him horn sounder, it felt very impactful and felt like a very important moment.
When she basically tells him, what language are we speaking now?
Yeah.
And then Matt realizes, oh, I've been speaking the old tongue this whole time.
Yeah.
Also great.
It was it felt very grand. It felt very important. Like it felt like it didn't feel like your typical bickering that we always hear. Robert Jordan feels, oh, if people didn't bicker, they wouldn't have belly buttons. I was just listening to that interview yesterday. So the whole
but Brigitte is cool. That's what's awesome about her, right? She's like,
yeah,
she's out there trying to find the ugliest looking dude. She can basically drink anyone else under the table. She comes back to the palace completely smashed. It was like that Matt has got a hollow leg with a hole at the end of it.
Yeah, Brigitte is just like Brigitte. What's funny is Brigitte and Avienda took like a back seat, especially Avienda. So this whole Ebudar thing opens with Avienda, basically witnessing Elaine and Nynaeve trying to talk to the sea folk, the headmistress of all the sea folk, basically. And I thought it was very funny. And then I liked how she's the one that basically, her and Brigitte basically, call out like I said, Nynaeve and Elaine because of the Dragon Reborn. And I'm just like, yes, finally something good. There's somewhat of a comeuppance. I'm not expecting anything more than that, Like, I'll be honest, I was surprised that Elaine survived the Golem. Maybe it was because of what's his name, Vannon. Vannon took a hit for her or something, but she got knocked out too.
And Nelisian got his throat ripped out like MacGruber.
He got his throat ripped out just because he tried to tried to surround him and all that. And I liked how they introduced the Golem too. Like a woman's like, "Help me, help me!" It's one of the the kin, right? And he just And then Matt's just like, oh my gosh. all right, I got my spear. Ah, and then they fight. And then I was surprised. I was surprised that I'll be again back to we're going back to the golem fight now. Golem fight. I'm surprised he didn't just I'm surprised he was trying to evade. Like he didn't have to evade because apparently nothing hurts him. Like he stabbed him. He stabbed him multiple times and nothing. Right?
Well,
like
you wouldn't want to get pinned.
Yeah, because it can still like stun you and stuff like that. So
can it?
Well, depending on how you get hit.
So, but yeah. So, what were we talking about? I forgot. I kind of got. Oh yeah, we're talking about Brigida and, yeah. That was all the Ed Boudar stuff. Okay, we got to talk about Thailand.
Oh.
We got to talk about Thailand and Matt. So apparently Thailand's been sexually harassing Matt for like a couple of chapters. So first she comes on to him pretty freaking strongly to the point where he is questioning his own manners. Like, hey, I'm the pursuer. I'm the chaser, not you. And then she keeps sending him notes saying, hey, come and join me for dinner. And he locks the door. And then he's so paranoid about it. He thinks she's gonna like climb down from like above and land on his balcony or something like that.
Matt is using Oliver as like a shield.
It's
Oliver, no, I gotta take him somewhere. And then lo and behold,
and then she gives him a costume. He's like, oh, go on, play. She's like, yes, ma'am. And he's like, you son of you bastard. Yeah, he's like, you bastard. Like Oliver's like, I can't help it. She's pretty.
Well, I mean, that's because somebody else is teaching Oliver all these bad manners.
So was it Vannon and
find out.
Van and all the red arms, everybody but Matt is giving is raising Oliver the wrong way, which is just absolutely, again, it's freaking hilarious. It's like an ongoing joke. Where is he even learning all this stuff? If he keeps on going this way with women, they're gonna skin him alive.
And then I forget and then there's a point where like he is starving, they won't deliver him food. He tries to go to the kitchens and they won't let him take it. He's like, you want food? You better accept our queen's, her majesty's invitations. And so he's like, oh my god, everybody knows. The hell, Elaine knows, Nynaeve knows.
If the queen ain't happy, the servants ain't happy, right? It's just like, she wants you, go fuck our queen. So she finally leaves us alone.
and then I forget. Like, I think then after that, the deed happens. She's like, hey, look what I have. I have a key to your room. And he tries to snatch it. Back the fuck, back to the bed. Back the fuck to the bed. Back to the bed. And he's like, and then she's like, okay, we're doing this. He's like, I don't want to do this. And then
another knife point.
And then a few minutes later, she's like, and she's like, he's feeling bad. He's just wearing he's naked under the sheet. He's wearing the thing, the foxhead medallion. And she's like, you enjoyed it. So just quit lying, quit bitching.
Oh, it's so awful. It's so awful.
So written in a different time, and in all honesty, it's pretty funny. Like, let's stop being also like modern day with this stuff. This is hilarious.
I honestly thought this was the moment I heard about, but this was not the moment I heard about, because there's apparently there's a Matt moment with handcuffs.
I don't think it's handcuffs. I think it's pink ribbons.
Okay, pink ribbons. And
when you see that chapter name in Winter's Heart, I think you'll know what it's about.
And there was another one with, there was another one. I wasn't sure if it was going to be in this book. Spanking.
That's a later book.
Even though I think they do bring up spanking. Oh no.
No, that was a bit with Matt. What do you mean? That was a bit with Matt.
It's mostly a.
Oh, don't tell me Perrin and Fael. No.
There's no more of that. It's Egwene. Read and find out. It's not sexual, but there's a lot of spanking.
Okay. All right.
There was a bit with
Fine.
Matt,
Read and find out. Okay. Fine. All right. So, yeah. So we covered that. So yeah. So there would be some Matt spanking. What's up, Malner? I haven't seen you in a while.
Yes.
Let's see. What else is there? What have we not talked about?
I guess if we're talking about the sea folk stuff, you could go, or the sea folk and the kin, you could go like when Matt is kind of like following them and he just barges into the kin's like base.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's how he at the end. That's how he finds out about. That's how he finds out about the. Well, it's like, hey, I followed her into the Rahad. I followed her into the Rahad, and then there's the thing. The thing is there. You know the thing. Come on, man. Come on, ladies. Let's go. You know?
And the kin are all freaking out because they're like, why is our channeling not working? What is wrong with this guy?
Yeah, he starts to feel cold for some reason. He starts to feel cold. So, yeah. I'm trying to remember if there was anything else worth. I
guess there's the part where Matt, just insults the sea folk until they make a deal with him. That's a pretty good part.
Daughter of the Sands.
Yeah.
Brian.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right.
Brian, you should know that when Matt is getting cold, the medallion gets cold, people are channeling at him.
Yes.
So the reaction that he feels is that the silver is going cold on his skin. So that's when he knows that people are trying stuff.
Yeah, we learned that in Lord of Chaos when he first encounters them, and they're like, hey, Elaine's like, hey, you're gonna surrender that Terangrial to us because we have a right. And he's like, no, it's mine. I'm not giving it to you.
How nice of you to allow me to keep what's mine.
Yeah.
But what is this thing you're talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
I honestly like the couple of chapters leading up to this where finally the Supergirls have a super plan and they're like, we're going to use Matt as our Taviran on a leash. So why don't you go stand by the kinswomen shop and do Taviran things? And they're basically just like at the bar all day drinking. And people are like, what are we even doing here, Matt? And he's like, I'm being Taviran and having more of a drink. And then you cut to Rihanna Corley, who's like, for days now, she's had this like impulse that she's trying to fight constantly to go check on the storeroom. So she's under the Taviran spell. And then finally, it all comes together. But these are just fun chapters of like Matt out in Abu Dar drinking crappy ale because he doesn't believe lemonade actually tastes good because he had a lemon once. Fun little details like that.
Yeah, I'm just curious now that we pretty much covered most of this plot line. I mean, like, yeah, Tom and Julian kind of took a backseat too to this. So Tom and Julian, Avienda and Brigida for the most part, especially in the second half. What about the red, or not the red, but the Tower Aes Sedai in the palace? Are they still there? Or did they leave?
They're still there. So there's a green named Jolene, who has a couple of warders. She got sent to Abu Dar by Elida as a power play by Elida against the Greens.
Mm-hmm.
So Jolene is bitter against Elida for sending her to this backwater. And then Teslin is the bony Ileana Red, who I think for similar reasons, she was fairly high up, but she got sent as an ambassador to a backwater. All the Aes Sedai in and around Abu Dar play a more prominent role in later books because the Shan Chan arrive.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
Okay. So they're still there.
But one of them sent a warning to Matt, right? They pinned a note into his coat.
Yeah.
Precisely because they're on Elida's side, but they don't like Elida, and
they're willing, they're willing to just basically, they're just willing to stay put. Like, we're not going to send her we're not going to do anything. We're just going to chill.
And one of them is even warning Matt, being like, "Hey, these girls are in danger from Elida, just so you know."
Okay, interesting. So you have them, and then you have the Black Aja. So the Black Aja, which were part of that final fight, Phalion and Ispan. So are they the last two, or are there other Black Aja left from Leandrin's group? I remember we did talk a little bit about it last time.
So there was Aniko and Joya in the Stone of Tyr.
Yeah.
They show up in the show again. But so the 13 from Leandrin got whittled down to 11. I'm not sure that they actually killed anyone from in Tanchico, although it's kind of implied that one of them wielded, I think it was Jeannie Cade, wielded the balefire rod, and it went kind of haywire. But
is that the one that attacked Nynaeve after she fought Moghedien, and that gave Moghedien the means to escape or something? Yeah. I'm assuming Moghedien just simply untied the weave that she got, the shield that she got, and she simply fled.
Yeah, but there should be about 11 of them left. So after this fight, it's the next Black Aja that kind of get defeated, at least from the Leandrin's 13.
Yeah, I feel like I remember one of them accidentally getting like deleted by the balefire rod.
But no, they're still around for they'll come back in a later book, the ones that are left. So this isn't the end of the Leandrin Black Aja plot.
We haven't seen Leandrin since Fires of Heaven. I don't think last time we saw her, she was shielded by Moghedien. So
yeah, that's kind of wild considering how much showtime she gets on Wheel of Prime.
I wonder if so I forget, are they going to kill her in the next episode?
Prediction stream tomorrow, so yeah. We'll see.
My current running theory is that they'll have her do a heroic sacrifice to help Nynaeve beat Moghedien.
Kind of like as so wisely done as like Loyal basically falling into the ways. So if they make more episodes or they make more seasons,
he'll be back.
Loyal's going to land in a steading. Loyal's either going to land in a steading where he's going to somehow find himself floating all sparkly glowy in the dream world, and it'll be up to Egwene to rescue him.
Well, the current theory is that apparently in the scene where Loyal dies, they play the Horn of Valir theme. So apparently the running theory is that he's going to be Hero of the Horn.
Oh no! Oh no!
That's the running theory.
But he just fell. We didn't see him die. I mean, Uno on the other hand, he got spike stomped. He got Sean Chan spike stomped, and he became a hero because he died basically.
He gave the best blowjob.
That too. So, okay. All right. So there's still some mysteries left with this one. So apparently there's an old man that's watching them. So there's an old man that was helping Matt earlier. So the whole thing. So what is going on? We haven't seen Carradine. We haven't seen Jacob Carradine or Jai Chim.
No.
Jai Chim. Sorry. Jacob Carradine. And Millie, what was her name? Millie Skane. Is that her name?
Yeah.
Millie Skane, the fox, the lady with the vulpine features. So we haven't seen that. We haven't seen them at all. Are they going to be back in the next book in Path of Daggers, or is Ebbo Dar going to be in Path of Daggers at all?
The Ebbo Dar plot is not. The Jacob Carradine and Millie Skane, they're going to feature more prominently in book 10 and 11, I think. 11 for sure. I forget if they actually are in book 10.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So,
but the old man who's watching them, he comes, you'll learn who he is in book 9.
All right. I'm assuming this is a character we've never really met. We haven't met before, right? I don't think so.
You haven't met him before this book, but you were introduced to who he is in the very first book. So read and find out.
Oh, okay. No, there was a name that came back in this book. that I don't think I heard since the first book. Jane Farstrider.
Read and find out.
Isn't he dead? All right. Well, I guess read and find out. All right, fine.
Yeah.
Read and find out.
Read and
All right.
find
Read and
out.
find out. Okay. Yeah, because I'm seeing that I'm seeing like all these callbacks. And like, okay, there's a reason why he put this in there. So that's the other thing. I'm like, okay, why is this put in there? What's Jordan trying to tell us? So, and then there's another mystery character I want to talk about, but I can't because we haven't gotten to that yet at the very end of this book. So, I figured, okay, so we talked about Elida, we talked about Magedian, we
I
talked about
pushed you off Morghese, so I don't know if you had more to say about Morghese. And
I mean, we talked about the Sean cherry, so I liked how Morghese kind of. I liked that chapter. It was very atmospheric. It was nighttime. All of a sudden, they're looking outside and they're like, oh, all of a sudden they're hearing fighting, and you see, beasts. They're like, what is it? Is that a bird? Is that a bat? What's going on? And so you have Talonvor like freaking out. You have what's his name? The fat innkeeper. What's his name again? From
Basil Gill?
Basil Gill. Basil Gill's like, I saw it too. Now you've been drinking again, Basil Gill. And I couldn't help but think of Harry Mudd when I heard that. And Stable, I know you're too young, but Harry Mudd is a character from the original Star Trek series. He's a little overweight and he's a bit of a scoundrel and all that. Everybody's annoyed with and hates in the show. So I was thinking, and there's a moment where like, oh, you're putting on weight and you're drinking again, buddy. So yeah, I couldn't help it. I can't help it. But yeah, so and then we get the return of High Lady Suroth, and we actually found out some pretty chilling things in this, and I actually kind of want to talk a little bit about it. So we talked about a little bit about last time with Pedro Nile and his ciphers and all that. So apparently Balwer comes back and basically spirits them away. So once again, Morghese is really good at getting herself spirited away from being in a very dangerous situation, being captive and all that. First it was with Robin and Camelin, and she just left. Personally, I was hoping she would be caught. I was hoping Robin would see through it and he would catch her, and then after that in Fires of Heaven, we don't know what happens to her. And then all of a sudden, and then of course, then it would play out the same. Matt says she's dead, and we're like, oh, wait, is that real? But Rand doesn't know it, and we don't know it, so we're gonna go find out, and all that. And then, and then what happened after that? Well, me being the greatest scenario writer in the business, which means nothing because I've never done it, I was thinking she would be like a staple. Well, have you ever played Zelda Twilight Princess?
I haven't played it, but I think I know what you're talking about because I've seen all the footage from it.
In the beginning of the final fight, Ganondorf or Ganon
Zelda,
takes control of Zelda, and you have to fight Zelda. And I think it would have been interesting if Robin, used compulsion on her, and he would use her to attack Rand, and Rand would not know what to do. I don't know how it would end though, because I didn't think about it, but I think that would be a very interesting situation. But that's just me. But who am I compared to Robert Jordan? So whatever. You don't sound impressed.
This is all going over my head. I don't play video games really.
I barely play video games either, but it was just the one thing I could compare it to. So, but yeah, now Morghese is being spirited out by Balwer, the real spy master. So I'm curious where that's going to go. I mean, is she going to get caught, or is she just going to get into another dangerous situation again? Or maybe Volta will catch up and, hey, lady, did you miss me? Shouldn't have ran off on me. Okay, that's awful. That's dark. All right, I don't want to go there. But yeah, the return of High Lady Suroth and the whole thing, they conquered Chanchico. So if they conquered Chanchico, they killed the king, and what was the name of the Panarch? Was it Amathera?
Amathera.
Amathera. So Amathera is now a slave. is a slave and she has her own name, like how like the Damani have their own new names. Well, Amathera has her name. I remember that. I liked how that was revealed and all that. Did they retake Falme?
No.
Okay, so I was under the impression that they captured. So right now the dynamic is Rand has all the stuff. Rand has most of the eastern part of Randland, the wetlands, the westlands, or whatever.
Yeah,
and
Rand's got
the
Tyrion.
Seanchan are taking over the western part. So they have Tanchico, they have Amador now.
Yeah,
They're probably gonna try. They don't have Gildon because that's the Prophet's. So the Prophet has Gildon and some of Altera, I think.
Yep. Yeah. So that's the thing that's noted about Altara is that Ebu Dar, the Queen's writ, like lasts for 50 miles outside the city, and she doesn't actually really rule the rest of the country. It's kind of anarchic. But yes, the Seanchan are in Tanchico, and they're going north, so they're going on to Almuth Plain, not necessarily all the way to Falme, but Eridoman is putting up some resistance. They took Amadicia in a day when they basically swept in and took over the Fortress of Light and took over the capital.
So
now they're attacking.
So I'm curious where the White Cloaks are going to be operating out of, because they basically cleared the place out. So I mean, they all left. Ovalda, Asanawa, they left. So
yeah,
the White Cloaks are kind of like a disenfranchised military force, and the Seanchan are not cool with that. Gildan is in total chaos. Rand has got control of essentially Tyr, Kyrian, and Andor, and the Aiel now. The Borderlanders, was that in... You read the prologue of Path of Daggers, and there's going to be plenty of developments with what's going on in the Borderlands.
Mm-hmm.
That'll kind of bring it home, but
yeah,
it's the world is being plunged into chaos quite literally.
Yeah. And since we're on the subject of Gildon and the Prophet, let's go back. We forgot to talk about Perrin. So Perrin's in one single chapter in this portion, and he gets into a major fight with Rand about the treatment or the fate of the Tower Aes Sedai, if I remember correctly. Yeah. And I think Perrin's just telling them to let them go or something, and Rand's like, no. And he's like, well, then what are you gonna do? He's like, I don't know. And doesn't he like throw him? Doesn't he like use the power and throw him or hurt him or something? Yeah, and he's just like, get out of my sight. Sorry, what were you saying?
I just said like he lifts him up with the power, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, and so like I don't know if it was him or Fael. No, it was him. He was like worried that some people who want to get on Rand's good graces will try to kill him. And Fael's like, no, that's not going to happen because I'm going to kill you. So I actually laughed. I went when I read that. I actually laughed. I was like, okay, that was funny. That was funny. Now
keep in mind that confrontation was just a ruse, right? So Rand had spoken to Perrin beforehand about like, I need to send you away for your own good or whatnot, but we need, so that you're in the best position, safety-wise or whatnot, there needs to be a public viewing that we had a falling out and I'm banishing you.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But it was Perrin's choice.
Didn't Perrin resist that idea though?
He did, but at the end of the day, Perrin decided to make the point of their argument about the treatment of the Aes Sedai, which Rand still resents in his own POV in a later chapter.
Yeah.
But it was all to basically be like, all right, if you don't want to take command of my army going down to Ilion, you don't want to do this or that, can you at least go find Messima and stop the fucking slaughter happening in my name, because that's not doing me any favors.
Yeah. And so we get all that, and then the rest of the chapter is just them basically just gathering and going through the portal, and hey, we're here. We're here. So see you in the next book, everybody. And then the gate closes, and then that's how the chapter ends. At least that's how I envision
But
chapter.
Barrelane decided to come along too, which is
That's right. And he's like,
just
oh
what Perrin wanted.
no, oh no. Well, last time,
Poor Perrin.
remember what happened the last time Berlane and Fail were together, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Fail tried to murder her, and
Yeah.
Berlane was able to put that bitch in her place. And I actually, I'll be honest, that was, I actually liked that. That was actually a very good. I actually really enjoyed that part in the Shadow Rising. So, and it apparently, like Loyal just stays with Perrin no matter what now. Like he doesn't buddy with he doesn't really switch off with Rand or Matt anymore. He just stays with he's basically best bros with
but
Perrin.
not in this. So Loyal is not going with Perrin.
He doesn't? I thought he does.
No.
No.
He's Loyal is he got a different assignment, and I don't know. I think it was back in Loyal's assignment, I believe, was back in the previous book of Lord of Chaos. But does it happen now? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
Oh no, he says Loyal announces that he and Carlton are to go to each steading to warn the Ogier that the Waygates are being used by a shadow spawn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was another interesting thing. Other than the Golem, we didn't see any in Shader Haran. We haven't seen any shadow spawn in the last couple of books, like in the flesh. Like we do see Trollocs in actually I take that back.
Yeah, this is my alien
finale.
thing.
The finale. I forgot about the finale. Sorry. The finale. Okay, I didn't think about the finale, but you know how from all the way from Eye of the World all the way to Fires of Heaven, you had to have your obligatory, Trolloc, Shadow Spawn,
Trolloc,
ambush,
Draktar, Greyman, Darkhound. Like you get a full kind of bestiary of what the Shadow's weapons are. I just got a note at this point in the story, Brian, our MCs are getting to that ultimate power level. It doesn't really matter what what form of shadow spawn they throw at Rand. He's powerful enough to basically defeat anything.
Yeah.
So that's why it kind of stops happening. The stakes have been raised so high, or the abilities have gotten so high that it's just like maybe a Golem could take on Rand, but we're not seeing that yet. But that's kind of the level that the Shadow Spawn have to reach in order to be a threat.
I forget. Did I ask this already? How is the Golem controlled?
That's a decent enough question.
Is that a read and find out?
Not really, because it remains a question. Like, how would this thing why aren't the Forsaken terrified of this thing?
Well, apparently they were. That's why they only made 6 of them.
Right. But still, the Golem that's going after the Golem in Ebu Dar is under Samael's order.
Yeah.
How?
So
that's not explained.
So does that mean that Samael basically sent the Golem to kill Herod Fell at the end of Lord of Chaos?
Probably. Or if it's under Samael, I believe it's under Samael because he is the one who found the stasis blocks, but it could be under Moradin. I'd have to check. Pixcalcus might know better than I do. But
because I mean, honestly, like I think Moradin, I don't even know if Moradin came to be, but Moradin came to be outside of, or not outside, but off screen, if I remember correctly, right? We encounter him for the first time. Actually, no, I think we encounter him for the first time. He's watching them. We don't know who he is. So, yeah. Once I read black flecks along the eyes in his description, I'm like, okay, that's him. And that's one of the things I do like about reading this and reading, other fantasy. I like how he leaves things, mysterious, but if you pay attention to descriptions, or if descriptions are put in unnecessarily, there's a reason for that. That means they might be somebody else. So there's one character in this book that I'm curious if he's someone else because of this of all this weird actions, weird reactions to things, and the description of being plain, and it's Dashiva. I'm curious if Dashiva is somebody else.
Read
So,
and find out, bud.
Yes.
yeah. So
Ain't gonna give you that one.
okay, I wasn't asking. I was just I'm just like
All right.
I'm reading this and I'm like, okay, all right. So all right.
I
So
think the last plot we haven't really touched on is Rand.
yeah, Rand. Yeah, we haven't really touched Rand. So I mean, he last time he met Cad Swain. Cad Swain got under his skin because of the fact that she was aware that there were voices talking to him. So I'm curious if there's a reason why, if we learn why she knows that. Is that just a typical symptom of using the Sidene, basically, and men that go insane start to hear things? So so my question is, and maybe this is a read and find out, is Rand actually hearing Luce Theron, or is it all in his head? So
What's the difference?
maybe Luce Theron is actually there. I don't know. Even though he's supposed to be Luce Theron. So
Read and find out.
yeah. But I'm assuming that kind of I'm assuming that kind of ends in book 9 when a certain thing gets certain thing happens.
Oh, that got spelled? Yeah. No.
Yeah. So I'm curious how we build up to that journey.
That don't undo at the end of the day. That don't undo crazy.
Yeah. So that's one thing I noticed, especially this last half of the book. We don't hear Luce Theron that much. Like throughout when Rand is hunting Ravin in Camelin Palace, yeah, he's hearing Luce Theron all the freaking time, throughout the entire hunt. In this case, when he's hunting Samael, and I'll be honest, the Samael hunt was I liked the Samael hunt, except I did not like how it ended. At least.
But you're skipping
I know. We're all over the place, but yeah, we don't. But the thing is, we don't hear Luce Theron. But then at the same time, I keep forgetting that some of the chapters featuring Rand are from Min's point of view. So, like for instance, apparently Pan Fane comes back very briefly in this. So, I forget. Was there a prophecy that prophesied Pan Fane slashing his wound from Baalzamon? So he has the wound from Baalzamon that'll never heal, and then Pan Fane, as they're twisting, he's twisting and he slashes him along that same wound. So now he's got he has one infection, he has 2 infections. And when I read that the 2 infections fighting each other, I was like, okay, it's the one evil fighting the other evil, basically, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Am I wrong? That's at least, and that was thanks to the previous book clubs. Definitely check those out. Especially the earlier ones, Eye of the World and the Great Hunt, especially. So, but yeah, it was interesting how that kind of all started. So like, Rand's in a bit of a slump. So after the whole, Harold finds out Harold Fell's dead, and Cad Swain shows up. We don't see him for a while, and then when he comes back, he's just like, he basically knocks Perrin on his ass, gets rid of him. And we're like, what's going on with him? And he basically became Howard Hughes and started shutting himself in. He hasn't been able to read. He hasn't been eating. He's just been a shut-in. He won't let anybody
Kleenex
in.
boxes on his feet and jars of urine.
Pretty much, yeah. And then Min comes is like, yeah, we're gonna give you a bath. And then he's like, oh, okay. And then the Aiel women, the maidens are like, finally. And then they come running in with like hot water and the bathtub and all that. And they're like, you ain't clean yourself. We're cleaning you, bitch. So they clean it. And he's like, you know what? Let's do something. I'm gonna go see the sea folk. And so he goes and sees the sea folk, creates creates a bridge of air. He creates a bridge of air. Once again, it makes me think of Zelda, but Zelda they create a rainbow bridge, but that's Ocarina of Time. But he creates a air bridge, and then gets on board, and then if I remember correctly, they just start to freak out, and I forget exactly what happens, but
he
it gets
uses
to
his Taviran powers and basically gets them to agree with what he wants. So he's bending the pattern around him.
Yeah, and then I like how I forget exactly how it like. So they start agreeing with him, and then if I remember correctly, he decides, you know what, I don't like this. I'm too tall for this cabin, and I can't stand the claustrophobia. And he's like, okay, Gray Aja, hey Marana, you're taking over. She's like, can you please stay? And you're doing so good. And he's like, you're Gray Aja, do your fucking job, negotiate. And then apparently they're still according
expecting
to
the Aes Sedai to do their jobs. Are you insane?
According to the last chapter, I think they were still trying to negotiate with them, basically. So they're still struggling with that. And so Rand now feels on top of the world. He can do this. He's like, you know what? I feel on top of the world now. Let's go and take out those rebels those Kyrian and Tyrant rebels outside the city. So then he goes to the woods. He goes into the woods and he encounters who is it? Who does he encounter again? Moraine, one of Moraine's cousins or something.
Yeah, isn't it like
Caroline
yeah,
Damodred?
Caroline.
Yeah, Caroline Damodred. And we meet her and we meet Darlin. And Darlin is like the guy, the Tyrant dude that's just like, he's like, he doesn't want to, he's like, I stand against Althor. I just stand against him. And I think he comes in with men. He travels with men. They go there by themselves. They have no support backup. And
because Rand is just trying to make it seem like he's just like another like rebel lord that's just hanging out with his wife. Right?
Yeah, Rand calls himself Tomas Trakan. And I had to remember. I forgot that I first for a second I thought Tomas was another character. I'm like, why does he keep calling Rand Tomas? And I looked back like, oh, that's because that's what Rand calls himself, or that's how Caroline Damodred introduced him. I forget what she called Min. But yeah, we get to the camp. We get to the encampment. And they go into this main camp, and they run across someone named Torim Ryadan, and apparently he's a blade master. He's a Kyrian blade master, and he basically challenges Rand to a duel. Let's see what you're made of, bro.
So, Brian, the two houses here, part of the rebels, those are the leading two houses of Kyrian. So Damodred is Moraine's house. Carolyn's house, that was the old King Laman, who had the throne, who cut the tree down that precipitated the Aiel War.
Yeah,
the
Barthanes.
Next house, Barthanes, Damodred, him too. But then House Ryaten had the throne because King Galadriel, who Tom killed in the second book, was also of House Ryaten.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting he wasn't a Damodred. Okay.
Yeah.
And so this Ryaten guy has someone has a new friend, a new buddy, and a new buddy named Geral Mordeth. Geral Mordeth. I wonder who that could be.
Not at all suspicious.
Sounds like a stand-up dude.
It's very bold strategy of Pat and Thane to still use Mordeth in his name.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, fine. And then I think they see him. Rand gets pissed but doesn't do anything. Then they lose him. They lose him in the crowd while Rand gets into this duel. And then all of a sudden, this fog just comes and just starts eating people and everything. So it's another bubble of evil attack, I believe, right? Now the question is, this is the same bubble of evil that was reported in the Rahad earlier.
It's not a bubble of evil, I don't think, is it? It's just
It's ambiguous. It's either a bubble of evil or it's something that Fane is manifesting.
Yeah, I always figured it was kind of like a mini Mashadar thing that Fane was doing.
Really? Was it?
Because isn't it described as being like mists and stuff like that, like Mashadar?
Yeah, I think so.
That's what I thought it was. I thought it was just like
But it's deliberately ambiguous.
Yeah, it's a fog. It's a fog, basically.
But Mashadar is the type of fog that touches you and sucks your soul out. It doesn't have like a monster ripping people in half in the fog. So that's why. That's why it's ambiguous. Did Fane do this, or is it just coincidence? Like, is it a bubble of evil? It could be either. It's not really super important to know the mechanics behind it, because the key plot event that happens is that Rand picks up another wound on top of his never healing wound.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, that might make sense, because Fane just uses this whole thing as an opportunity to slash Rand, and it doesn't look like a whole lot of damage, but actually Rand's like and then he just gets knocked out, and they have to too bad they don't have ambulances, and well, they did manage to get they did manage to get a carriage to take him to Kyrian. So yeah, I liked how and I think this was at the same time Rand uses the balefire to try to take out some of the fog or something like that. And
then
the
fog monsters slaps him.
And Cad Swain. Oh, okay, so Cad Swain just happens to be at this encampment too. And yeah, she smacks him, and she's just like, this is beyond I forget what Aja is she again?
Green.
All right, so they don't really have anyone to heal him, so he's kind of they better get him out of there. There was another thing that I thought was interesting. I don't remember if this was set up earlier, but Min looks at Fane and doesn't see any aura whatsoever. And I forget, is that because is he outside of the pattern or something like that? Is that why?
She doesn't see auras or images all the time. So I don't know if it's. I don't think RJ's being deliberate, like he's special in that there are no auras around him at all, and that's a special feature of him. It's just, yeah, nothing to add at this point, but there's no reason to think that.
Or Jordan doesn't want us to know what the future of Pan Fane was.
Could be.
So, well. But yeah, so they basically they get Rand back to the palace, and he's freaking dying, and I forget the Ashaman do something, right? Ashaman
Damer Flynn does something. There was a yellow Aja with them. I think it was Corel or Coriel, and then there's another Aes Sedai Samitsu.
Yeah, I think it's Samitsu.
So they both help out, but it's Damer Flynn who basically he's got a healing talent, kind of like Nynaeve has got a healing talent, but from Sidene, and he does something to help Rand.
It says he seals the two wounds away so that they will war against each other and subsequently cannot affect him for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of like, I mean, like what you said earlier, he's kind of like made it so like the two evils are more focused on fighting each other than on killing Rand.
Oh. Yeah, so.
But he can't say how long it'll last. So, yeah, Rand is on borrowed time.
Yeah. So we get that. Oh, really?
Right.
Oh, okay.
At a certain... Brian, you got to remember too what the book's established about Sidene is. It's not just that they go mad, but their whole bodies get infected with like a wasting sickness.
Oh,
like once you start to channel, you've got like a couple years max before, even if you hold off the insanity, like your body will waste away, like a kind of leprosy or whatnot. And Rand at this point in the series is beginning to get in the full throes of that. So his health problems are just escalating from here on.
And I'm pretty sure, don't we see that in one of like the Flicker visions with Rand in book 2?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember, if I remember correctly, wasn't there like several years? Wasn't there one vision that was like several years later? Like he was older, and the last battle didn't happen for didn't happen until he was much older, and all that. Sean Chan already took over for a long time.
Deliberately trying to never use the one power, and I think that's the vision where he kind of joins the Queen's Guard, and only uses the one power occasionally, like when he's in a tough fight. But Rand in the books that we've seen, he's using the one power all the time. Like he's training with Asmodean, he's getting his power up. Like
I was actually thinking of when the last battle got all the way to Terran Ferry, and they all fell basically. That was what I was thinking.
Okay,
yeah,
I think he was much older than that, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think that might be the last Flicker vision. I can't remember.
Well, yeah, last, and then we got
that's the one where he's got like a couple good fingers left, right? Because he's experiencing that rotting. Yeah, gross. But yeah, you just got to remember, it's not just the insanity; it's basically his body is infected as well.
Okay, so I'm curious where that's going to go going forward. But Rand is able to get up and recover and have a final battle, so we're on the final. Okay, I forgot there's one chapter we didn't talk about. Galena. So we find out what happens to Galena.
Oh God.
So Galena is now Galena, the one that Luce Theron is like, where's Galena? Where's Galena? Actually, Staple, you do it one more time, please.
Good God.
Where's Galena?
Wow. You know what? You should be Luce Theron. You should be Luce Theron from now on. There you go. All right. You know what? All right. Every time you do something from here on, I'll gift some memberships. How's that sound?
All right.
Okay. All right. Deal.
I'll be free.
So that means I have to limit how many times I do it. I have to do it now.
You have to put a limit on me.
Yeah, or you're gonna hate me. So I like how Galena is like completely broken. So we get to see how brutal. What was her name? What was the name of that Aiel? That
Savannah?
Not Savannah.
Tharava.
Tarava, whatever. So we got to learn a little bit more of the Black Aja history and all that. It's like Galena's like, oh, I was involved in this. I killed this person in their sleep. I was in the Black Aja for 80 years. You know what? It's an honor to be recruited into the Black Aja. So yeah. Apparently it's. I'm curious. Do they just recruit you? Say, hey, you're in the. We like what you do. You're in the Black. You're really good at what you do. We're going to recruit you into this Aja.
That's a read and find out. But keep in mind too, Brian. You've probably forgotten about it, but the oh my God, you just got the biggest frickin' super chat I've ever seen.
Okay, you know what that means now? That means that Staple, you're gonna have to read it.
All right.
Okay, so thank you, Fit, for $49.99. Holy crap, bro. Mom there. Thank you. I mean, I haven't seen you, man. I hope you're doing good. Yeah. So all right. Staple Bow, take it away.
All right. From Malineer, at the Notorial Lifeform. At this point, who are your favorite side characters? For example, mine are Gaul and Dobrain. Also at Dane and at Staplebow.
Okay, well, Staplebow, you answer first.
All right. It's a bit of a spread the moment question. I'm trying to think. Damer Flynn's definitely up there, actually. I really like Damer Flynn. Who's another side character I like? Talman is for sure. It's definitely got to be up there. And then, Gaul. Like you said there, it's got to have Gaul.
For me, Jahar Narishma.
Oh yeah,
he's a kind of a favorite on the Ashman side to be like hanging out with Rand. For dudes hanging out with Perrin, or sorry, let's go with Matt first. I like Chell Vannon. He's one of the more fun kind of tangential side characters, but like the super fat horse thief who has a gap in his teeth that spits through, but behaves for Elaine. Like that, there's fun elements to that with him. And then I guess a side character with the Perrin plot. I like Seven Balwer.
Yes.
Oh shit! Sorry, that might be a bit of a spoiler for you, but they'll meet up.
I see nothing. I hear nothing.
All right. How about you? 3 side characters that you enjoy.
I'm trying to remember who's a side character. Well, I mean, I really liked Huron in The Great Hunt. I'm kind of disappointed we haven't seen him again.
Read and find out.
So I really liked Huron, especially that moment with when they're like when he's talking to Brigida and Arthur Hawkwing. It's Arthur Hawkening, right? Right, Staplebow?
No.
I'm the one that found that. I'm the one that discovered it on Amazon. You pause and it says Hawkening. So yeah,
I still remember when you guys found that on the freaking season 2 finale. I nearly died.
Yeah. So I liked Huron. Huron was a big reason why Rand became a leader in that book. I actually really liked Ingtar in the first 2 books. I really liked how he discussed. I really liked how we learned quite a bit about the culture of the Borderlanders, like that they're always fighting. They don't have time for well, we don't learn about until The Great Hunt for Deus Damar. So when I was talking with Miss Mar Muses the other day, talking about the Shale Rising, we talked a little bit about like just the nature of like Deus Damar, and like how, because of the fact that the Southern Kingdoms don't have to deal with, invaders and that type of life where there's always combat involved and all that, they just play their games because of boredom, basically. I think boredom and all that. But yeah, I really liked Ingtar. I liked his sacrifice. I'm surprised there hasn't really been a follow-up to that, like someone else affected or something that allowed us to revisit that, and maybe the possibility that maybe other dark friends could be redeemed in a way. So, or a possibility to explore. I don't know. Apparently, from what I've read so far, it's really difficult because there aren't all dark friends bonded to the Dark One the way like the Forsaken are. Or is that?
This is a good point, and it gets us back to the comments before Malinir gave a very generous super chat. So thanks again for that. But there's a difference between a regular person and what they could swear to, and what a channeler could. And we see that with the oath rod, right? That binding oaths where they literally can't do stuff. There are advantages to having the power, but there are also weaknesses. One of the main ones that was explored in the early books is that people can get turned to the dark, right? That was the big threat down in Tyr, that they had 13 Black Aja and they were going to send for 13 Murdral. And then Elaine and Nynaeve and Egwene started screaming because they knew what the plan was. They're going to be forcibly turned to the dark. So just keep those things in mind, because they haven't been brought up for a long time for a reason, but they do come back in later books.
And that also, I think, was in the I think it was in Egwene's
her accepted test.
Her accepted test. The second one where they're in a ruined Camelin, and Rand is crushed by the rubble, and he's like, "You're going to have to kill me, Egwene, or they're going to turn me. They're going to turn me evil." And yeah, so yeah, I don't know if that was the first time that. No, well, maybe not. No, it was the same book. It was that same book, it's Dragon Reborn. So.
Yeah, it's among the first times that is mentioned, but now it hasn't been deliberately mentioned for a very long time. Because I think the last time it came up was when the Black Asha captures Egwene, Elaine, and Nynaeve down in Tyr. And we haven't heard about this feature since. But just keep that.
Read and find out.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's definitely something to keep note of.
Yeah, because I'm curious about because we saw, and we also saw that when Egwene was tied down in her third vision and everything, but she killed them all. She killed them all and freed herself. So I'm curious, like, what exactly are the Murtrawl? Like,
they're the filter. So the 13 channel, they channel a particular dark weave through the Murdrawl, and they're able to turn somebody. But as far as like how do you recruit the Black Asha, it's just like, all right, you either swear on the oath rod, new oaths to the shadow, or we'll do that to you, and you'll come out of it with less than half your soul, kind of shit.
And that does that also go for a normal person as well, or is that just for channelers?
It wouldn't work on a normal person, and binding oaths like on an oath rod wouldn't work for a normal person. So
I see. Okay.
So the white folks are right to be suspicious of Aes Sedai. That's all I'm saying.
All right. But yeah, so one character is off the grid, another character is dead, basically. So who does that leave us with? I mean, so far, I mean, I'm really curious where Aram's story is going to go. He's gone down a dark place. Well, what happened to him in the Shadow Rising was one of the highlights. It was one of my favorite moments when it was one of the most heartbreaking moments too, with his family, and him taking up the sword and all that. So, curious where he's going to go. But like in terms of like, likable characters, I like, I guess for now, I mean, I'm still meeting these characters, but on parent side, I mean, I still like Loyal,
Yeah.
I hope to see Loyal do more stuff, going forward. Who else is I like Gaul. It was a shame that they got rid of Gaul. On Matt's side, I mean, Talmanis is pretty cool. I like Alvar. I think Alvar was the big part of Matt's intro chapter in Lord of Chaos that I liked. I thought the rest of it was kind of rough, in my opinion.
Also, what I'll say, to avoid being too heavy with spoilers, Matt has some really good side characters coming up that you haven't met yet. That's all I'll say.
Okay. By the way, R.I.P. Nalesian or Nalesian.
Rip King.
Yeah.
Daniel's been begging purpose. Sorry, I saw that look.
Should have stayed in bed. So, trying to think. I don't think, does Rand have? I mean, is there really? I mean, Sulin, I guess, from the lady side.
Bashir, Dobrain, those types of guys hanging around Rand are pretty cool.
I really enjoy.
Ruark is a fucking monster, so I love Ruark as well.
Yeah. I really enjoyed seeing Rand up against in the beginning of Lord of Chaos, Mazrim Time, or sorry, Mihail. Is that how you say it? Mihail or Mihail?
Mihail.
So Rand finds out after he's rescued that Time gave himself. So Time is not just, he's not an Ashaman. He gave himself his own rank, and he is Mihail, which I think was a leader or something. Yep. Basically leader. So
it's like the Fuhrer.
We don't see we don't see Time. We only see Time very briefly in this book. So are we gonna see him again? Is he not gonna be a thing until book 11 or something?
No, I think he'll be through quite a bit.
Yeah, he pops up a decent amount.
Okay. So apparently Rand still doesn't trust him. He thinks he has Time has some spies watching him or something like that. So
and remember that Luce Theron just kind of goes crazy whenever he sees Time.
That's right. So so Rand basically gets up, he recovers from his attack from Fan. He's like, you know what? It's time. Let's go fucking kill Samael today. Right now.
I mean, as crazy of a plan as it is, it makes some tactical sense because, like, I mean, pretty sure Rand himself says that pretty much all the Forsaken think he's on his deathbed, essentially. So they're not going to be expecting him to just go, like, nuke them.
Yeah, he's got the advantage now. Plus, like, the whole thing has been building up for a couple of books, and it kind of gets lost on you unless you read and reread this thing. But that massive army he sent south with, like, Lord Weiramon, who did something stupid and started attacking the forts. Like, he left the foot behind.
Yeah.
And then the Ashman come and say, like, hey, we're getting slaughtered here, but because Samael is always showing up at these forts whenever we make a charge. That was all to be a big diversion for what the ultimate plan is in this chapter, which is to use the Ashman to open gateways, and then the precise light cavalry of the Saldeans, 9,000 of them, run right into the city and take shit over.
Yeah.
So it's all a big diversionary tactic.
Before we even get to that, I forgot to talk about the whole Savannah and Lord Brend, or was he? No, he calls himself Kadar. In this, so the Kadar gives them this cube, the stone cube that allows them to travel, allows the Aiel the Shido to travel, and he tells the Shido basically, hey, Rand and his Althor's army is going to be on you guys because of traveling. They can be on you guys within the day. So you better split up and get the F out of. I think this was Kinslayer's dagger, I believe.
Yep.
So they sent a good portion to the the hill lands, right by Ilion, from the point of view of Merrick, and it kills some of the and it kills some of the Aiel. The gate actually kills some of the Aiel, closes on them like a scissors, basically. I forget, were they called the Lost Ones? Like they look down upon some of the Shido that abandoned their clans that joined the Shido or something. I think they're called the Lost Ones.
The Brotherless. The Lost Ones are their name for the Tinkers.
Oh, the Brotherhood. What are they called again?
Brotherless, I believe.
The Brotherless.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I'm trying to understand the point of this. What was the point of this? Was it just to break the Shido?
The boxes did nothing. That was a red herring. It was Samael and it was Grendel opening the gateways for all the Aiel, and they opened the gateways to scatter them across the whole plain between what is Brand's territory and what is Ilion, or his territory. So in essence, the Shido have been scattered all the way across the plains of Moredo into Altara and Gildan, just to create havoc and chaos.
They're trying to let the Lord of Chaos rule.
Oh, okay. I was like, what was the purpose of this? But that explains why a certain plot point. I don't remember if it happens in the next book or the book after. That I just couldn't help but not avoid, and that's it involves Fael.
Yeah,
it's the best plot line in the series.
Oh no,
that's why I heard. Like nothing beats this plot. Nothing beats this.
So exciting.
So that was all just to drive chaos. I thought it was part of his ultimate plan to defeat Rand or something. So I was trying to understand the point of
part of it. He wants to undermine the stability in Rand's territory, right? So.
Yeah. I guess you could say that. So
all the Shido were bottled up in Kinslayer's dagger, and instead Samael scattered this whole clan, which is upwards of 30% of the Aiel by now because of all the ones that are becoming brotherless. Just all across the border between what is Rand's territory, which is only Tyr at this point, Kyrie and Andor. So all these Shido basically get scattered: Plains of Moredo, Ilion, Altara, Gildan.
Okay. So I like how this chapter ends. We actually do get a Shader Haran point of view. And he's like, are they doing this? Are they sowing chaos per the Great Lord, or is this something outside the what he calls the plan in that portion of the chapter? And he's like, oh shit, I've been away from Shale Ghul too long. So Yeah.
Gotta go.
I was curious if there was a reason why he added that part. Was that just to kind of confirm to us that this was them just simply sowing chaos?
Well, it's sowing chaos, but it's also his own end, right? So Samael found Ilion, or took control of Ilion, and that's his key territory. And Samael's been skirting with that Lord of Chaos order because he's been lying about having a truce with Rand, that type of shit. So, but at the end of the day, like, you know how it ends in a chapter or two, not the biggest or key plot point, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I see. Oh, that's a name I've not heard in a long time. Bush. It's way before Staple Bow's time.
Ilian Gonzalez.
Yeah, you had to be around what was it, 99, Dane, when that
Thereabouts,
happened?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it affected the 2000 election. I remember Ilion.
Yeah. So
Is it like a third
long
party guy or
story
something?
long story short, a kid was forcibly abducted. I don't know if it was the Bush administration or the Clinton administration.
Clinton.
Clinton administration.
This is what led to the Bush administration. Why
Yeah.
people in Florida voted for Republicans. They didn't really like what Clinton did in this
They
case.
abducted the kid and then brought him back to Cuba, basically.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. And then because of that, he became a staunch supporter of Castro, because
Of course he did.
Fidel Castro was still alive then. I mean, Fidel Castro was alive for a while, but he was still in charge of Cuba. So, yeah. So yeah, that pissed a lot of people off. It was all over the media. You couldn't get. I tried to watch my Saturday morning, cartoons or my Saturday morning shows, and they had to break in with that news on all the stations. I was like, God damn it. Like, seriously. Like, I wanted to watch Power. Okay, actually, I don't think I was watching Power Rangers at that point, but still.
Yeah,
So,
we had it the worst. We had it so much worse than Elian Gonzalez.
yeah. All right. So now let's talk about the final chapter. So so he leaves. They once again, Rand and his Ashaman leave. They sneak out without permission or without the maidens knowing. So I'm curious if there's going to be a consequence to that. The maiden's like, bro, if you're going to do this shit again, we're leaving you. We're fucking gone. We're not going to worry about you.
We're going to find out.
Shit. So, and I like how he's like, oh, I'm never going to hear the end of this from them if they find out or something. So, but yeah, so he could basically
go conquer another nation and be right back.
Yeah, I'm just going to go. Yeah, let's go conquer this or something. So I like how he goes back to Camelin. They travel to Camelin, gets the 9,000 he gets the 9,000 horse and the 15,000 was it didn't they
Legion.
yeah, was it crossbowmen? They managed to create crossbows. They managed to mass produce crossbows, or at least they say if they built a factory system that allowed them to create them quicker than, how did he put it, like a sheep having kids or something. I forget how he described. I forgot how he compared it.
If you're recruiting people to like become Ashaman, they can't hack it. You put them in the Legion. What's the most effective way in this day and age that you're writing about to make someone who's never fought before into actually somebody lethal? You make them a crossbowman.
Yeah, because bows take a lot more like strength and like skill to use than just a crossbow. You just point and shoot, pretty much.
Yeah. So we get that, and then we go to Ilion, and we're I liked how Ilion, we got that great he goes in, they start channeling. I think the reason why they all started channeling was to like basically spring all the traps, spring all the wards, basically, and then of course he got my intro right there. This is mine. You can't have it. And he's like, hey, bro, I'm the Dragon Reborn. I'm going to kill you, So, and so we make our way to Shadar Laguth.
Shadar Logoth.
What'd you say? I said Shadar Laguth. Oh, you mean Shadar Logoth? Shadar Logoth. Yeah, that's what I said, you idiot. Sorry, that's my Inspector Clouseau joke of the evening.
Well done.
Hey, They can't pronounce shit either. So what can I say?
I cannot.
Yeah, it's just a wild ride. Like they're just he's running from lightning. You know, he's dodging shit. And this is where it gets interesting. We see someone who we haven't seen for a whole book. So in Lord of Chaos, there's a chapter where they go back to Shader Logoth to help was it Haman and Loyal's mom, basically.
Yeah, Elder Haman.
Elder Haman and Loyal's mother come with him to help find a waygate, or to map out a waygate in Shader Logoth.
Seal it too. Yeah.
And seal it. And we see that one of the Aiel maidens, Leah, gets lost along the way. They can't find her. She's just gone. And then all of a sudden we see her again. She's back, and she manages to does she attack Samuel? I forget.
She
attacks
freaks
Shadow
out.
Spawn, I think, right?
But she creates a distraction towards the end. You're kind of skipping ahead towards the end of the fight, but yeah, it one of the things that Rand encounters in Shadow Logoth in this final chapter is Leia again.
Yeah, well, he encounters her. She's basically takes out a couple of Trollocs, and he's like, "Hey, you know me?" She's like, "It's me." He's like, "Who?"
And then she runs away.
Rand Althor, and then she runs off. And then just kind of skip that. He bail fires her. so she gets touched by Mashadar,
which would consume her soul.
Would consume her totally. So the balefire is a more merciful.
Yeah, because it gives her a chance to be reincarnated.
Basically destroy her. Well, it's the same fate, right? Your soul is gone. You're off the pattern. You're off the grid.
Balefire doesn't destroy your soul. It rewinds. It burns your thread in the pattern, but like your soul still exists.
So this is a key point, Brian. When the Dark One says in Lord of Chaos that Ravine can't be resurrected because he can't step out of time, it means the Dark One can't go back in time to pluck up Ravine's soul in order to reincarnate it.
Oh.
Right? So the fact that Leia gets balefired back in time, outside of the Dark One's reach, but her soul isn't consumed by Mashadar, which basically means Estepabo is saying if there's this soul mechanic, she could get a future life. But if her soul got consumed by Mashadar, then she's kind of done for forever. That's the mercy that's in Rand's thinking here.
Oh, okay. All right. Then that makes a little bit more sense now. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm taking it that's how Samuel meets his end, right? Gets consumed by Mashadar.
Eaten
Now,
keep in mind a couple of things with this. When this book came out, and us as readers had already seen that Agenor and Balthamel come back as Osangar and Arangar, and that Moradin is also someone resurrected. When it was slightly ambiguous what happened to Samael in this book, everyone was like, he's just going to come back again. So that was a lot of the initial reaction to Lord of Chaos being like, you're doing it again. You had a Forsaken fight with an ambiguous end. Tell me, is he dead or not? And I think Jordan stayed mum on it for a couple of years, but then basically said, yeah, Mashadar got Samael. Samael is toast.
Yeah, I mean, I for a second I was gonna say that in our chat that he was like, I'm like, oh, he could be alive because it was like, like I said,
the way it's written is kind of weird.
Yeah, but I think that there's and then I looked at some of the sentences and I realized that Jordan kind of nipped that in the bud, unless there's a way that that it could have kind of escaped that, because it's literally says, like, Rand literally says here, or thinks, if he would have escaped, I would know because he would have used Sidene, and I didn't feel Sidene.
Right.
And then the other point was he
Maybe
was
saying
there
something
till
else up
morning. He was there all night, and the fact that Samuel didn't come, means he's dead, basically. So it's interesting. I kind of wonder why Jordan decided to write it that way, to
I
write it
think
in a
he
way
might have
that
been I think he might be giving himself some wiggle room. Like he
That's
himself
it.
might not have decided on whether he wanted to actually kill Samuel off yet or not. And then he kind of decided, and I've got too many villains alive already. I'll keep Samuel dead.
because I mean, in Lord of Chaos, it seemed like they were set like they were setting him up to be like to be in the last battle. So
If
Well,
only he
it
had his
was-
big power Dark Souls hammer.
Yeah. But what's been
well, he's a
been
dwarf
happening-
in that show. He's a dwarf. He's Scottish. He must be a dwarf. He's shorter and weaker. He must be a dwarf, right?
What's been happening in the books up till now, and this is a reestablishment of the pattern, but every book prior to Lord of Chaos had a Forsaken fight at the end of it, right? 2 Forsaken snuffed it in the first book. There's an Ishamael fight in the sky in the second book. Bilal dies, and there's an Ishamael fight in the third one. In the fourth one, I don't think anyone dies, but he cages or he defeats Asmodean and bends him to his will, and Lanfear's there too. In the fifth book, Lanfear and Ravin eat it. In the sixth book, this is the first one where there isn't a Forsaken taken off the board. In the actual narrative, it's more with the Aes Sedai plot. But back in book 7 now, we've got a Samael fight. But this is also the book where you realize, okay, the first 2 Forsaken that were taken off the board, Agenor and Balthamel, they're back. And you get a strong hint that Ishamael is back as Moradin.
Yeah.
So when you read attentively to the Samael thing, is he dead, yes or no? That was a big thing for the fandom because I don't think they would have. A lot of people are getting impatient already, being like, what's the point of these high climax endings if in a later book it's just going to get revealed that there's no result from this? These villains just return.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think he's leaving an opening for himself as how he wrote it, but he ended up saying now it's like Samael's not coming back. He's actually dead. His soul got consumed by Mashadar. So that's canon.
So so I thought that was an odd. I thought it was an odd. At first I read it, I was like, that's an odd way to end it. Then I read it again. I was like, okay, I could see why. I could kind of see it. So, but yeah, I think that like this definitely warranted a discussion right here. So I'm glad we had this. So,
but just that Samael does not use the power or Rand doesn't sense it doesn't mean that an attentive reader can't realize, oh, wait a second, what if he used the true power to travel out of there like
that's what I thought in my first read through. I was waiting like for the rest of the books for Samuel.
And can you not, has that been established? Can someone not sense the true power?
Can't. No. That comes from the dark. Rand wouldn't be able to sense it. In fact, that this is a key little hint for you too, because another point that we skipped over in this chapter, or you haven't highlighted yet, is he meets a wanderer.
Yeah, I was gonna bring this up next. That's my next. That's gonna be the final. It's gonna be the final thing. So, apparently, so after he encounters Leah, he ends up getting into a bit of a pickle where he goes into a building, I think, or a ruined building, and the floor collapses under him, and he is lucky enough to grab a ledge. And the thing is, we don't know if there's a basement down there or if it's bottomless, but he ends up getting help from someone who is also wearing a black coat and someone who is just as tall as him. And he was just a very mysterious, like, either, hey, I can't be here. You're going to ruin our plans if you die here, Althor. But I'm not going to fight your fight. You're not going to fight and kill Samael for you. So, I have a theory who I think it might be.
There's a very short list based off the detail that gets dropped about who it could be. So let's hear your theory.
I think it's Osengar. I think it's Osengar because of the fact that he's the same height as Rand, because we know that Agenor is the same height as Rand. And Osengar was just another character that hasn't been accounted for yet since Lord of Chaos. So I have suspicions he might be another character, but I don't know yet. But this is either that or this. Maybe this is or maybe it's Moradin, or maybe it's someone we haven't met yet, or maybe it's. First, I thought it was the old man. Like, nope, it's not the old man from earlier. From Ebodar.
Interestingly enough, the fan theories when the book came out, they asked the questions of who is the Watcher and who is the Wanderer. Are they the same person? So the Watcher is the old man that Matt meets, and then the Wanderer is this fellow that Rand meets in Shatter Logoth.
And the Wanderer was described as only not that much older than Rand and about the same height.
Right, but if people have access to the power, they can change their appearance, right? They can do Mask of Mirrors, change how they look, inverted weaves, all that kind of stuff. But I say, yeah, you got an interesting theory. You've narrowed it down pretty good. But does
it pay off? Does it pay off?
Yeah, no. This is the Balefire Streams Crossing is actually a seminal event that's pivotal to explaining the end of the story. But I'll get that into you at a later point.
Okay.
Just know what would happen if two weaves that annihilate each other and move back in time, the paradox that gets created of those two. If you try and balefire, what would happen? And just try and reconcile that in your head. It creates a problem. So it's well done, and this is kind of the metaphysics that he's kind of built in and allows you to kind of think shit through and what the implications would be. This is how you get a deeper understanding or deeper appreciation for the book series, the more rabbit holes you dive into on this. So I like it a lot.
I see. All right, but yeah, I think we basically covered all of Crown of Swords. Only the very final thing is Rand goes back and they give him Ilion. He doesn't take Ilion; they give it to him,
and he gets a Crown of Swords. Hey,
or what do they call it? What they call the crown before?
It's the Laurel Crown of Ilion, but now it's got swords placed into it, so they start calling it the Crown of Swords.
Yeah, and like some of the swords are pointed up, some of the swords are pointed down, or something.
The really sad thing, Brian, is that the Daryl K. Sweet cover for the next book is the best cover. So the Path of Daggers cover is just absolutely gorgeous
because he's wearing that crown.
But he's also dressed how he should be, and the details are right, and the people all on the horses, everything is right about it.
But does he have guns? Does he have guns like this?
Look at his legs in that cover. Like, God damn it. What the heck is up with his left leg?
He skips leg day. What do you expect?
His knee is like bent the wrong way. That's what I mean. But no,
he's half Trolloc. What do you mean?
The Path of Daggers cover is arguably the best one of the originals. But he does have the Laurel Crown, the Crown of Swords on.
So I heard there was one that they did. So I know that I think the final book didn't have Daryl K. Sweet picture, but I heard there was one made, and I saw it.
There's like an unfinished one, but it's mostly finished. Like you can look it up.
Yeah, it looked like three characters were looking at like at a funeral pyre or something,
and there's Aes Sedai symbol in the smoke kind of shit. So
yeah, so I wonder what that is. So read and find out. But yeah, so that's it for Crown of Swords. So does that mean I am halfway through the Wheel of Time now?
Yeah,
7 out of 14 now.
And Path of Daggers isn't super long, I don't think.
I've listened to a few book reviews. I've heard Path of Daggers is a lot of people's worst book, even more so than
again,
Crossroads of Twilight.
For a lot of people, they were expecting an answer to the Matt cliffhanger, and they didn't get it, and that's why they didn't like it.
That's it.
Yeah,
I did look ahead, and I see there's a whole bunch of Elaine chapters.
But who doesn't love Elaine?
Oh, yeah, true. Who doesn't love Elaine?
I'll say there's some really good Rand stuff in Path of Daggers. I'll say that. There's some.
Okay, and so it's a lot of Elaine stuff, a lot of Egwene stuff, a lot of Aes Sedai, Tower Aes Sedai,
Some
Salad
parent
Bar
stuff.
Aes Sedai.
Again, the plot slows down because all the characters are separated and there are new characters that got introduced.
Yeah.
So even if it's a 30 chapter book, if you go 3 or 4 chapters per character, but you have 8 or 9 characters, that fills up your whole book. So you don't get a whole lot of development because you're just too spread out. That's essentially what happens for the next couple of books.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not a secret how I've, felt about the Wheel of Time. I've had really high expectations, and every book I've had to lower my expectations quite a bit. And then the end of Lord of Chaos was a freaking roller coaster ride. So, but even then, I kind of understand. I mean, I know the nature of the series to know that the end of Lord of Chaos was like a one-time event, I guess you could say.
Yeah. You'll get those same highs. Probably the ending of Winter's Heart and Night of Dreams has some pretty good parts in it too. But yeah, you're in for a rough couple of sections. But
yeah, there were some rough parts of this. There was some rough parts I was kind of dealing with, yesterday, trying to get through some of these chapters. Some chapters I really liked. I really enjoyed the prologue. The stuff with Perrin that kind of that felt. I mean, I liked the first couple chapters because of the tension, because they just got off this battle. There's all these different factions there, and they're like, oh, what's going to happen? Powder keg, whatever. But it was really slow build up to them taking on the evil Lady Colivere, because Lady Colivere was we had to build up 6 chapters to take her out, because she was the bad. I mean, you thought Galena was bad. You thought the Tower Aes Sedai were bad, and Savannah and Shido.
And that's the problem essentially when you've built up your character like Rand, that he's doing world-changing kind of Jesus level magic events. It's like, quite rightly, you're not intimidated by Colivere, right? As a reader, it's difficult to get your threat level up now that your main character is basically superpowered.
That's been my ongoing criticism of the series, because there are times where I'm just like, I'm supposed to feel the stakes, and I'm not feeling the stakes. Yeah. So, but at the same time, I do feel the stakes sometimes, like with Matt and the Golem. Like the Golem would have killed Matt if that, once again, I mean, it might have been convenient, but he didn't know. We didn't know until, did it just by itself hit him? Was it accidental? Because
he was in a tussle over top of him, and then it spilled out of his shirt. But you got to remember, Matt is lucky, right?
Yeah,
luck is the whole thing.
So
yeah. So
and then after that, Matt kind of figures it out, and he starts deliberately
yeah. And I did, and ultimately, with the exception of the waste, the ambiguity behind what ultimately happens to Samael, I actually really did like this chase. I thought this chase was a lot of fun. I like that there was a taunt. That's something I was disappointed with the Ravin thing. I think the Ravin thing, honestly, I know you guys are gonna be like, no, nerd, that sucks. I wanted to see I would have loved to have seen a slight duel or something, and then Ravin runs, and then you have the rest. Then you have the hunt. So I'm okay with the hunt and all that. And the thing is, we do see Ravin die. Ravin does die. We see him. And I'll be honest. One thing I missed, one thing I forgot about, and I was like, okay, why did he put that in? Oh, I remember, because Ravin is the male equivalent of Lanfear. He is the extremely handsome. He is the extremely handsome, supermodel. He's like the middle-aged handsome model, supermodel type guy. And so, how does his demise happen? Well, Moghedien burns his face off. He burned his face off, so he looks like a monster, and then that gives Rand time to bail fire his ass. So yeah, so we got to see that. So yeah, that I thought that was revisiting that. I thought was actually pretty good. So yeah, so my opinion of that chapter has the threads burning has elevated because of re-listening to it. And
yeah, the other thing to contemplate, if you do get stuck with Path of Daggers whenever you start, or you just don't feel like it, try a reread at this point. Because a lot of people who got into the series, this was about the point where it's an established, there's a lot of books and whatnot. But I know for me, like there were 8 books out when I first started. And the first thing I did, because I had to wait 2 years for the 9th book, I read the series multiple times in between, just to try and find everything that I found. So if you find it hard to get going on this, now that you know plenty, a book like The Eye of the World, you might really, really enjoy it.
I thought you had to wait until you finished it, because there's a lot of things that that book does we don't pay off till the final book or something.
It could, but all I'm just saying is there's plenty to enjoy a second time around, given the part where you're at.
Yeah, well, so it's like the prologue to Eye of the World alone. I think you catch a lot of things that you probably missed the first time you read.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. I mean, obviously, I serve another power. The true power. Well, that's courtesy of our friend Dane right here, or Sir Lord Dane Bornhold, Esquire.
You're at the point now where enough has been introduced as far as how the world works. Age of Legends, this whole, book with a bunch of Age of Legends lore in it, like.
So they sell this. Do they sell this? If you can find it, send me a link to it, and I might purchase it.
You can get pretty easy on Amazon. It'll have a different cover. The cover I have is like the world map cover.
But anyways, all right, boys.
So ultimately, I like this book. It's is it as good as Lord Chaos? No. I think because of maybe if I revisit Fires of Heaven, I don't know which one I think the end of Fires of Heaven actually we actually see Robin die, but what's funny is I actually enjoyed this one a little bit. I actually enjoyed this chase a little bit more.
Yeah, this chase is
it had more things that I liked, but the ambiguity was the only thing that
the ambiguity gets solved later.
Yeah,
outside of the books with RJ confirming Samael does die. So
yeah,
but everybody when they first read it was like quibbling, like, oh, okay, he could still be around, but that's not the case. So anyway.
Yeah, I mean, were there some rough parts, sure, but what's funny is the parts that I was expecting to be rough, like the Morghese stuff and the Maggedian stuff, was actually pretty good. I actually really enjoyed it. Like it was, the Mind Trap chapter was chilling. Mashiara was pretty chilling. Heck, I don't even really enjoy Elida. Like Elida's portion of the prologue was the one I hated the most. And I actually enjoyed Sealed to the Flame quite a bit. So
she's kind of entertaining because she's like such a walking train wreck that's kind of entertaining too.
Yeah, I mean, she has her own evil tower. She's building her evil tower, so I'm hoping that pays off in some way. Probably not, but yeah, I'm curious where the White Tower story is going to go. Yeah, so I mean, I'm assuming the march on Tar-Valon is going to take another couple books. So I'm guessing they get there by book 9 or 10. Salad Bar Aes Sedai. So we didn't see Logain. We didn't see Logain at all in this book. So I think if I remember correctly, he's gone. He is gone before doesn't he run away? He runs away before the events of this book, right? So so still things I'm curious where they go. I'm curious where so Egwene has a new massage therapist named Halima. So I'm curious where that storyline is going to go. Is Halima going to do some bad stuff to Egwene or something? Or I don't know. Or maybe Egwene's more evil than Halima. I don't know. Oh, wait. Sorry, this isn't the show. Sorry, this isn't the show.
Oh, man.
the whole thing with Savannah and the Shido. I mean,
The sad thing is Robert Jordan wasn't able to finish his series, so in part, a lot of these plots that you're picking up on, they weren't executed or wrapped up in the best way.
now, if I remember correctly, like he didn't map out all the plot lines, right?
No.
He only mapped out on some of them, basically.
But there was too many balls in the air for any juggler to kind of keep up and do it satisfyingly. He got stuck in the middle. That's kind of what this is. But anyways, at the end of the day, at least the series got finished. But I'm telling you, a lot of these plots, they can be enjoyed as you're reading them, but in the grand scheme of things, when you look back and you reflect on them, it's this developmental edit problem. It doesn't come with the payoffs, so it's fair.
So I remember you saying Jordan around this time started Discovery writing. Does he Discovery write for the rest of his career until he passed away?
More so than this. So what's understood is that he made a very detailed outline for the first 6 books, because his first 6 books, that was his original contract with Tor. That was supposed to be for the whole series. He didn't get anywhere close to finishing. But at this point, if you'll note here, so it says here, sequel to the New York Times bestseller, Lord of Chaos.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that A Crown of Swords became the first book. So when the paperback came out, this was the first one that was #1 on the New York Times bestseller list for him.
Oh, okay.
So he had a license to print money with all of his incentives to wrap up the story disappeared with that.
Yeah,
So he's gonna
Tor was probably encouraging him to write more books.
Oh
Exactly.
yeah. I mean, it made them a lot of money. You said he made $1 million or plus.
Probably
per
clipped
book.
$1 million per book.
Yeah. So, and this only took him a year and a half to write.
Yeah. So the other thing is his pacing. He was doing a book about every 11 months prior to this, and A Crown of Swords took about a year and a half. But the books start getting shorter, and they start taking longer to come out because he's not working 12 hours a day writing.
7 days a week.
7 days. He's going at a kind of more relaxed pace at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And in hindsight, Martin taking 11 years to write a book, people were complaining Jordan taking 2 years.
Bro, it's been 14. It's going to be 14 in July.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean,
he resurrected direwolves before he wrote the next freaking book.
I know.
Yeah. I don't know. Some people. I mean, I don't know what side you guys are on. I know there's people that don't like that. They're very critical of him taking a long time, and there's people that defend it, saying you can't rush writing and you can't rush people and all that. So, I mean, I got into a little bit of a.
I'm going to reserve my judgment until I read the book, if it ever comes out.
Yeah, my current stance is kind of just that, I wish he would just come out and say he's never going to release it, because he's never going to release it. So,
anyways,
yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. So yeah, but that's it with Crown of Swords. I liked it for the most part. I do understand why people call it the slog, and in some ways I agree, but if in terms of not having any story, no, there was plenty of interesting stuff. There was a lot of interesting developments in this one. I think it was a very good follow-up to Lord of Chaos. Is it better than Lord of Chaos? No, not by any means. But it was still entertaining in its own right. And there was less of the Supergirls. And that's always a positive for me. Because the Supergirls were taken by Matt. We're taken up by Matt more or less. So
you're gonna start liking Nynaeve now. I guarantee it.
Are you sure? Are you sure? Yeah. Are you sure? Because
she's getting the mean fucked out of her. She's a better character.
Really? Because I hear she stays prickly. So
okay, maybe for another book or two, but she'll be fine.
All right. Okay.
It's a gradual process.
Gradual process. Okay. So all
Can't
right.
turn on a dime.
Yeah, and we got Miss Maren Muses here, so she's stopped by to say hi. Definitely check out last week. Me and her did a Lord or a Shadow Rising. We finished. So we did a 3-part thing on the Shadow Rising. So we did a whole part. Remember, Dane? Remember you and I? We did a whole book club just talking about the 2 glass column chapters. We did something similar there for part 2. We just talked about that because the episode just came out, episode 4. And it was fresh on my mind. I actually reread both those chapters, so I actually enjoyed rereading those. Like those were really good.
That's what you'll get. Is that you're on your first read, but I recommend a reread at some point. If you ever get tired of reading anything new, just go back and reread, and you'll find the energy to keep going. I think
I've been more interested in rereading particular chapters instead of other chapters because other chapters are rough.
Yep.
You know, so you guys are. I like having you both on because you both are very knowledgeable, and I can ask questions. I mean, I'm not saying the rest. I'm not saying that all the other guys can. I mean, a certain horse is, he's overseas. I could ask him questions. He'd be telling me read and find out, nerd. So, I don't know. I hope I didn't scare everyone else away. Steve, where are you? Nathan, where are you? Will, where are you?
I think Steve
I'll be
will
back.
brace himself for like 4 days from now.
Yeah. So, oh well, it's Sunday night. I guess plans change, things change. So I'll have to reach out to everybody individually and see what see what their schedules are like. See if I can get those guys back. So it's just been us in the group, and I just put the link in. I don't really invite anybody, and whoever comes. So, but I mean, I'm actually really happy. Just whoever comes is great. But I guess the less of us, the less likely we're going to talk over each other too. So that still works out for me. So it's a win-win regardless. So, so Staple Bowl, what's going on with you? I know you have a channel, right? Don't you? Aren't you like 1,000 subscribers now?
No. I mean, the only stuff I really have on my channel is just me fighting Bloodborne bosses.
I think Staple Bow does have a channel. I did see a few of his videos. I know what you look like. I think you're doing a project or something, but I don't know. But yeah, don't bother Staple Bow, or he's gonna talk down to you, like a villain. So, but yeah, I mean, but yeah, man, thanks for doing this. Can't wait to do Path of Daggers. But there is a channel that did go past 1,000. Where are you guys at 1.1K now? 1.05K. Dane, the White Cloaks are over 1K.
1.11.
I'm so proud of you guys. But hey, the thing is, you guys like totally destroy me in terms of repeated viewership. You guys got, I think your last stream, didn't you guys get like up to 65 people?
Last night? I think we got
your last stream. I
did one last night.
You did?
Yeah, Aldan and I.
Episode 7 breakdown
we
and the
reviewed
bingo
episode
cards.
7.
Oh, how many people?
70.
Ooh.
And I told them not to fucking come.
Oh.
I think that might be my secret weapon.
Just doing reverse marketing.
Yeah, exactly. Don't watch it live. I sound like a fucking drunk. Like, speed me up. Like, give me an hour lead time, and then. But no, it's like Aldan and I. We took down episode 7 last night. I think there's Alex has got something scheduled for 2 days from now, and Alex's next review should be dropping at any moment, hopefully. So, yeah, we're doing that, and tomorrow on Amber's channel, we're going to do a prediction stream for episode 8.
Are you guys going to do the same bingo card format that you did for episode 7?
Yeah. On a much bigger platform. So maybe we'll get some better predictions, Staple Bow.
We got a bingo. I mean, I mean, they'll actually change one of the cards, admittedly, but still.
And Brian, go watch what I did with Aldan last night. If you got 1.5 speed, shouldn't take you more than an hour. But
well, I am looking for. I'm trying to steer clear of political videos now. So maybe hearing White Cloaks will be a breath of fresh air.
very
So,
political. Anyways,
Dane,
that's
Dane.
what we got. We can only milk this for so much longer, and then our channel's going to die when this horrible TV show disappears. So, but we don't care. So whatever.
yeah, I mean,
There's always the rewatches.
Oh God, yeah.
the rewatch.
We got
Yeah,
years and
rewatch.
years of that nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
But
Thanks for reminding me, Stable Bro.
So for me, okay, so I want to do a final Chilporial. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it this week because this week is going to be Good Friday. So I don't know what people's schedules are going to be like. I want to do a final Chilporial with a certain problematic people that call themselves book cloaks and a certain person named Prophet and maybe someone else if I can get them. So that's up in the air. But I do want to cover the final final 3 episodes of The Wheel of Prime. I watched the episode 7, and I know I've gotten a lot of crap for this.
Heretical opinion of it.
I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it either. So I liked how it ended. I liked that. I actually what I wanted to see in The Shadow Rising, seeing Dane and Perrin fight together, because that's what I was hoping to happen. But no, that didn't happen in the book. They were sitting pretty on the green and nothing happened. And then
Dane's a dick.
Yeah, well, I was hoping he'd be somehow redeemed a little bit, or start a redemption arc there. But oh well. But in the show, Dane's such a swell guy. Like I think I like Dane in the show, and him and Perrin fighting together. That whole thing with that thing was so stupid. But I liked how it ended. I liked how Perrin was willing to go with Dane at the end for murdering his father. So I actually liked the character a little bit more because he was taking accountability.
Yeah.
I know no one's going to agree with me, but that's how I felt at the end. I'm not saying I didn't say the episode was good. It was terrible. They had women, dark friends, leading the fight, and then they were off at her. You saw that? Like they're climbing what do you call it? Not the ramparts, not the ramparts. But what do you call the
watchtowers?
The barricades?
No, the spiked barriers. What do they call them in the books? Palisades. Yeah. Palisades, they're climbing up the palisades, and one was like like that, and they killed her. They killed her ass. I'm like, female led army, I guess. Where were the Murdral? Where was Slayer? Don't know.
Don't ask questions.
Don't ask questions. Just consume product.
Slayer was holding Dane's reins at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah.
And he did.
And then Lord Luke was just there because, hey, there's a book character. Hey, it's Lord Luke.
He's a text message.
Hey, there's Child Buyer. Hey, remember Child Buyer, everybody? Remember Child Buyer? There he is. See, this is just like the books. It's better than the books, according to Mr. Judkins, but hey, whatever. Oh well. But yeah, so that's a chill pour I want to try and do before I leave for Japan the following week. So I'm not going to be doing anything the next couple of weeks after that. But after that, so the first full week of May, I'm going to have, because I just happen to luckily be connected to the White Cloaks and Prophet of the Dragon. Because I'm connected to them, I'm connected to Amber. So Amber, the sword and the pen, is going to be on Chilporial that first week of May. And we're going to be talking. She's a first-time Wheel of Time reader. She's, I just messaged her. She's on Lord of Chaos right now. And she's a big TNG fan. So I've been telling her, maybe you should watch some of these book club streams because I do put a little bit of Star Trek: The Next Generation, especially in the intro and outros. And since I didn't make the final outro, I'm going to just use the same outro I used for parts 1 and parts 2. So that's what I'm going to show. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, and I'll probably I'm definitely going to take some pictures and I'll share or probably do a video about my trip to Japan we're probably going to, me and Amber are going to talk about, she lived in Japan, so we're going to probably talk about Japan as well. So between TNG, Wheel of Time, and Japan, can't miss it. Can't miss it. So
Should be fun.
should be fun. So, gentlemen, this was a blast. It's been 2 hours and 40 minutes, and this was a great. I think I had a really good time talking to this, and I look forward to finishing the series this year. And for the final, at least for the final book, for the last battle, I want to get everybody. I like everybody. I want to get Pips. I'm gonna bully.
Like
I'm
Friday Night Tights up here.
I'm gonna bully Nathan. I'm gonna bully Will, Alex. I'm gonna bully. Where's Alan tonight? Technically Mexican. Like Alan, I'm gonna bully you too. Yeah, okay. He does, and he has a show too. So, and Eldan and Gadfly. Yeah, and Staple.
That would be a full FNT lineup. That would be big.
Yeah, well, or we could do a switch off. If people have limited time, because of obligations, toe. So
celebration.
But yeah, and I definitely plan to do a. So I plan to do covering all the chapters. I think the last battle will be its own stream. I think maybe more than one stream. I don't know. And then the final part of the final book, and then a final stream, a final book club, just talking about the series and overall and all that. So, and that's why I want to try and get everybody. So, but that's hopefully that's so. I want to get 8, 9, 10 done before fall, and then 11, 12, and 13 and 14 during fall and winter up to Christmas or something. And I think that'd be great. So that's the plan. So New Spring. I have not. I don't think I'm planning to read New Spring.
It doesn't add much. I mean, I don't think Dane's the biggest. Dane, you're not the biggest fan of it, are you? Or
no, not really. But like,
that was also Robert Jordan.
I know, but I'd say read the series first, and then if you can't get enough, go read New Spring. For a lot of us, it was just like it came out in between books 10 and 11. And a lot of people were wondering, like, why don't you just give us book 11? Why?
Yeah.
Give your fans what they want, not a whole chapter about Moraine buying dresses.
The land
did that make $1 million?
Really
no, maybe $500,000. I don't know.
Oh.
New Spring is kind of worth it for the land chapters because they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I like Lan. Lan's another favorite character. I forgot to say. Lan, I like Lan. I like Tom and all that. So, yeah. Molinar, I gave you more. So, I was disappointed when they became more background characters, especially in.
Well, Lan did some cool stuff this book, right?
Yeah, he saved Nynaeve. He was there. He was there. He was there at the moment Nynaeve needed him. And then
I also remember, like when the Black Aja show up. At the 6 stories, Lan just freaking tackles one of them instantly.
Yes, he does. That's true. So, okay, all right. So, all right, but yeah, everybody, definitely subscribe to White Cloaks, and don't subscribe to Staple Bow. Just.
You make me do your readings, and this is what you.
Don't worry.
I thought it was your.
I'm gonna go. Don't worry, Staple Bow. I'll check out your channel.
You can see my epic Bloodborne game.
I'm not going to promise subscribing, but I'll check it out. All right.
Bloodborne. I have to beat Elden Ring. So I don't know. I'll have to get back to Elden Ring. So, all right, guys, take care. Stay corporeal, and be on the lookout for the next book club and the next Chilporial.